In a dark forest surrounded by guards appears mysterious knight in white armor with scarlet cloak. His threatening silence forces everyone be on guard. He slowly turns his head and looks at his enemies with indifference, but in his gaze, readable fatigue. Bloody marks on armor issue recent battle. The commander gives the order to seize him, but the knight with dexterity avoids the attack. His movements fast and precise, as if he anticipates every step of the opponents. Smashing sword blows disperse enemies. Despite the numerical superiority, the guards cannot resist his long-standing skill. Battle veteran. He acts like a machine gun, suppressing opponents one after another. But his strength is clearly running out and his movements are slowing down. Blades of the enemies finally find target punching armor. Knight falls heavily breathing, but in his eyes all more is on fire. Rebellious determination. Lying on the ground, he looks at the sky. His thoughts remain unknown. The enemy blade is already aimed to complete his path, but he does not experience self-pity, only courage and the remnants of honor. They're holding him. He knows he's already a pawn in someone else's game, but accepts his fate as true knight. Among crowds, guards appears mysterious. A figure with silver hair. Her calm smile hides tension from long ago confrontation. With cold interest, stranger orders the knight's helmet to be removed. It seems the moment of truth close and their story just about will reveal its secret. The sudden sight shocked the white-haired man, and he froze in confusion as he realized an unexpected fact that contradicted his expectations. His view burned mixture shock and disbelief. His rival, covered in blood, mockingly responded to his surprise. The sarcasm in her words intensified tension. She expressed her pain without hiding it. Contempt. The soldiers held the wounded woman, and her enemy cold-bloodedly announced that her side suffered defeat. Death of the captive was to become final chord wars. Approaching closer, he discovered that previously remained hidden, and this opening was for him simultaneously shock and ridicule fate. The wounded woman turned out to be a girl. Her bright red hair called him admiration, and he thought it's worth it. Should we deprive such rarity life? However, there was a hint of sadness in his words. Mockery playing with fate. He laughed as if understanding the irony moment. Every detail of this meetings caused him new wave fun bordering on madness. Having acknowledged that the conflict with her had an effect on him influence, he offered her a choice. There was a note of challenge. By whom she wants remain in people's memory. His words are filled with ambiguity, made it clear that he was waiting her solutions. He's like enjoyed game, although in the depths was ready for any outcome. The wounded woman could not hide fatigue and doom, but her pride remained unchanged. Internal conflict reflected on her face, and she made it clear that she would not give up. He smiled, inviting her to listen attentively. His gaze was full of mysteries, and tension between them reached the limit, foreshadowing a new chapter of them confrontation. Diana pronounces that young woman remains devoted to his own debt despite the fact that she woman. Wounded a girl with scarlet hair finds forces rise. Her words reflect internal struggle and defense of the right to be yourself, despite the pain and vulnerability. The interlocutor, having felt depth, asks her name. It can be read on his face, mixture respect and interest, as if this is the beginning of something bigger. Diana, that's her name. Red-haired warrior introduces herself. In response, she recognizes the name of the one who listened, Cornelius Heman. Their meeting becomes symbolic. Against the backdrop of bloody traces past her asking for the last words, she chooses sincerity, asking rid her from suffering with one blow, reflecting his strength even in weakness. But her fate accepts unexpected turn. Cornelius, despite the request, hesitates, expressing internal struggle between honor and compassion. Diana, closing eyes, preparing for the inevitable. In her thoughts, words of farewell are heard, but her determination does not allow break the spirit even in such moments. When she woke up, she discovers herself in a spacious room immersed in sunlight light. On her face reflected confusion, because all seems unreal. Her meets young maid offering help. Diana notices her wondering how she had changed, as if I looked younger. In my head, her swarm questions. Looking around, she understands that is located within the native walls long forgotten. Her thoughts wander between reality and doubt. Everything. This, it seems like a dream, but it remains a mystery. Diana, redhead girl with emerald eyes, lay on the bed, ignoring the words of the maid who was worried, asked about her well-being. She assured her that everything is fine, and she let go, wishing remain in silence. Young woman enjoyed a rare moment of peace, reflecting on the unusualness his own situations. The maid, seeing her calm but strange behavior, still decides that Diana fell ill. Wrapped in a blanket, she immerses himself in his thoughts, pondering what's happening. Impressions from the peace that had been found seemed simultaneously familiar and strangers. Soft rays of the sun warmed her filling consciousness. Feeling happiness, I realized how long I hadn't felt such harmony and peace. Awakening was sharp and full awareness, surrounding too much realistically so to be just a dream. Excitement and doubts filled out her sight. Diana stood up trying to figure out where she. At the mirror, she was overcome with the idea that this was not a dream. She somehow ended up in the past in my children's body. Looking around herself, I was convinced that she really was no more than 10. However, something made her doubt is whether this past. Her magical power preserved from the past life began to manifest itself. I realized that this an important clue to the mystery her returns. Seriousness, the situation forced her think about the future will be able to. Whether this time she will defeat the one who destroyed her past life. Suddenly, her called the man who announced that Sir wants see hers. Hers heart shrank. This was her father, whom she hasn't seen him for a long time. Diana remembers an important point from his own childhood when everything changed. A flicker of emotion flashes across her face. Sadness and green eyes reflect determination caused past choice. Her father, strict and demanding. The Viscount reminds us that the girl is already an adult and should study on her own, provide himself in the future. His words are cold but full meaning. Viscount offers young Diana choose between study arts, swordsmanship, or activities for a lady like hers. Eldest sisters, girl for a long time reflects. Diana dressed in simple dress, makes choice. Her steps give away echo in the spacious hall while she ponders your own solution. The look is full of determination. She chooses the sword. This solution seems daring, but I'm sure that we'll be able to overcome all difficulties. Viscount restrainedly accompanies her to a new path. Sword training becomes difficult test, and the past seemed would pursues her. Diana worries. Bitterness regrets about the future that is waiting ahead. Future turns out destructive. She sees ruins and fire where there was once order. Her vow to never touch the sword again resounds. How call fate? Viscount pronounces words that Diana, surprised, hears how. As if for the first time, she can hardly believe how much they meaning imprinted on her memory. She understands that Viscount then was more. He's young and his motives aren't so simple. He sees her as an opportunity to be useful family. And the decision inspires him. Now she is no longer afraid of his gaze. On the contrary, his severity. It doesn't evoke fear in her, but sincere understanding and compassion that has developed over the years. Diana looked at my father, noticing his thin hands not suited for combat. Memories of the past. They left her wondering why he made her afraid. Her sight wandered around assessing figure Viscount. In the imagination arose feeling that even a slight push would knock him down, causing strange mixture emotions. Viscount offered her to learn how to wield a sword, but instead she resolutely stated that wants study manners to become real lady. Her calm explanation that physical weakness does not allow one to become a knight, it sounded sincere. She firmly expressed desire to devote oneself training etiquette. Father froze in surprise until she left the room with a light sigh, assuring that her solution final and adding a note of confidence to his words. She's in the hallway. I was thinking about something difficult paths. Chivalry, every step reminded her of the days spent in the harsh trainings that exhausted her forces. In the past, her body barely withstood endless hours of sword training. Her hands were burning with fatigue, but she continued fight without allowing herself to stop. I remembered how hard was catch up the rest. It was worth it just one day behind. These tests tempered her spirit but left traces. However, intelligence called her return to the present. Clenching her fists, she convinced, stop thinking about the past and focus on your own new goals. Diana was determined that a new path will lead to the present success. Having collected her thoughts, she prepared to move forward with confidence. Diana, with her bright red hair and piercing green with my eyes, I realized that no longer a knight, but a noblewoman lady. She began her journey to a new life. Shrouded gray clouds girl, I watched the rain wondering why it decided to go exactly now. The sad atmosphere intensified her thoughtfulness. Her strict half-sister Regina defiantly stated that Diana looked healthy despite rumors of illness. A hint of doubt sounded in her voice. Regina, smiling, asked why Diana. The girl decided to learn etiquette held back mine anger, feeling hidden mockery in this question. My stepsister advised me, Diana, it's better to become a knight. Naive question girls about the reason only strengthened spiciness. Caustic words. Regina. With contempt, Regina asked how girl with dirty with blood she could hope to become real lady internal anger. Diana flared up, but she restrained herself. Young woman, I was thinking about how Regina could judge so cruelly and unfairly her origin, realizing the strength of their noble roots. Memories of her mother, Princess Agriran, warmed the soul. Despite the unenviable position, Concubine's mother always radiated dignity. Diana reminded that her grandfather was the late king. This truth strengthened her confidence, reminding of her legal connections with the royal with blood. Regina dismissively noted that royal family rejected Diana's mother, but this only strengthened my determination. Girls prove to everyone their importance. Young girl with green, he can hardly contain his eyes. Irritation watching his summery sister. Her cold look and defiant confidence cause indignation. Family story reminds of the differences. The older one daughter, Viscount, born of the first wives, lived in honor. Then, how youngest always felt myself stranger. Memories of the past are filling up pain. While one fought on the battlefield drenched in blood, other enjoyed exquisite comfort and well-being. Cruel reality. The war left no room for weakness. Between life and death ran a fine line at the time how luxury reigned at home. The elder sister is surrounded enjoying wealth and luxury, the life of an aristocrat. Her carelessness and indifference only emphasize deep abyss between them. Irritation intensifies when youngest is being decided. Ask question about the past. Answer sisters. Full of cold superiority, only kindles interior conflict. Diana, whose life there once was associated with knighthood honor, reflects on his current role in the family, realizing that her victims were at the cost of someone else's well-being. Thoughts of the betrayal her mother suffered fill her heart pain and indignation. Regina, unfriendly half-sister with disdain, declares that he does not recognize Diana. Equal, aggravating gap between them. There the dialogue is full of hidden bitterness and resentment, reflecting the tense atmosphere of their interactions. Against the background of their own ambitions and sharp words, Regina shows your own rejection. Diana tries stay restrained, but her the struggle is clearly visible. It thinks about how the relationship could be different if there would be no hostility. Alone, Diana understands that her reluctance confess this one enmity mutual, and attempts to understand the sister remain unsuccessful. She sees in the reflection in the window, sad shadow his own disappointments. The guest who arrived at the house was the Baroness Williams, introduces himself. How etiquette teacher. She must teach Diana manners and prepare her to the new one life. But the girl herself perceives. This how another one trial. Diana evaluates Baroness. How woman from unknown families doubting her qualifications. However, the need follows the rules, her agree to lessons, though doubts remain. Hidden threats with sides families strengthen her alarm. They make her understand that refusal to study will put under attack from her place in the family. She feels that her forced give up your pride. In a moment of weakness, Diana loses balance and falls, showing how much she is not suited to the role of a lady. Clumsiness causes her bitter laughter, accompanying awareness. Inconsistencies your own expectations. Her internal struggle reaches its peak. She is being asked, question, is it worth it? Whether continue or still refuse. It seems that her choice becomes all more foggy and the pressure is getting stronger. Diana lies on the floor, feeling myself humiliated. Baroness watches her with restraint, waiting for when young woman will collect strength for a new round in your struggle for a place in this cold and inhospitable world. In the luxurious Diana Hall, diligently is mastering lessons. Etiquette, teacher, in yellow. The dress patiently explains basics. Greetings celebrating her good posture and potential. Trying execute instructions. Girl, awkward lifts dress but does mistake. That draws criticism from the mentor. She again and again tries, but everything in vain. Errors are being pursued. Her and the mentor, although strict, does not give up demanding repetitions. Diana feels myself uncertainly, but trying concentrate while hiding their emotions. Suffering or getting stronger because of the inconvenience shoes, Diana reflects on the fact that having removed her movements will become easier. She not used to the shoes. Teacher notices her discomfort, and with a slight mockingly mentions shoes with a dress, Diana understands what lies ahead of her. More much master. Mentor concludes the lesson by reminding that getting used to shoes is just the beginning of the journey. She hopes for success. Diana the next day. Privacy brings a moment of relief. The maid shows participation, but Diana feels oppression situations tormented, feeling helplessness. Accumulated fatigue breaks out outward in the form of anger. She refuses give in, filling up determination, prove your strength. She recalls that her will and discipline helped her achieve heights in the past life. Diana decides that these obstacles will not break her. By force character, she overcomes difficulties and is ready to meet them. New day, full determination to cope with the task and achieve mastery. Diana, hiding their true thoughts, watched the teacher noticing details while she adjusted her dress, trying to please the demanding lady. In my head, young. The thought of something strange flashed through the mind of the person behavior mentors. Etiquette teacher, despite his strictness, soon faced the unexpected visit. Appeared the girl with golden hair introduced herself. Second daughter Viscount, and her provocative self-confidence was striking. Beaming with pride, the girl declared that diligently I trained all night hoping conquer approval. But hints of yesterday's failure in manners made her excitement barely noticeable. The teacher asked a sharp question. If the talent is obvious, then why? Yesterday behavior was so unacceptable. This reproach forced girl shut up picking up justification. With ice with a glance, the lady made it clear that she would not tolerate it lies. Her words hinted that night preparations could hardly turn from beginner to professional. Girl assured in her sincerity, claiming that never mocked would intentionally. However, doubts remained. Attention attracted graded heels. Evidence of hard work. Having seen the girl's injured legs, the teacher slightly softened. The girl explained that this investigation, uncomfortable shoes, though the pain was clearly causing her discomfort. The teacher was surprised why the child didn't call the doctor, to which she replied that this total only minor wound that does not require treatment. Simple answer called easy, the mentor is tired. The lady thought about the carelessness of the maids who did not pay attention to the obvious injuries. This thought filled her doubts about qualification servants. Reflection. Girls about yesterday conversation with the maid. Even this episode was filled warm memories and lungs, misunderstandings that give situations warmth. Etiquette teacher attentively looks at Diana asking her a question. Looks strict, but in it feels like desire to understand to what extent the student is ready to change. The girl answers, trying hide embarrassment, but look, her gives out easy confusion in front of a strict mentor. Woman thinks, looking away. Her thoughts immersed in memories or guesses. Her face becomes serious, as if she came to some conclusion about the state girls. A subtle hint of care shines through her tense pose. Diana stands in the center of the room while teacher looks at her with sides. Girl looks like perplexed, as if she doesn't understand what's coming from her. Want words of the mentor are in the air. She notices how with the girl in this family are treated without due care. Respect. Teacher accepts solution. She orders to bring slippers and call doctor to show everyone how important it is to take care of Diana. The look is full of confidence and the gestures emphasize hardness. Her intentions. Sitting by the window, Diana watches the actions of the maid who performs instructions mentors. Woman says that necessary change thinking doing. This starting a point for change. Her words seem they force girl think about it. The words of the mentor penetrate deeper when she indicates that the body is value that need to protect Diana. Listens looking down, pondering meaning these words. She begins to be aware. Importance own existence. Overlaying Diana's leg bandages, the maid finishes work. The girl quietly remarks that this a little excessively, but inside her appears thought about importance values, own health and self-care. Teacher continues to speak, reminding that in order to achieve success, need to stand out among others. Her words sound, how call urging find your girl's strong sides and show them. Diana. She sits lost in thought, reflecting on the words of her teacher. She understands that higher society is a battlefield where girls have to fight for your own place, showing cunning and endurance. Looking at Diana, the teacher asks, Key, the question is it ready? Girl to this fight. The girl doesn't answer, but her look full determination says that she's ready to go forward, overcoming all difficulties. Diana, a girl with fiery hair and a shrewd with a glance with interest, listened to a lesson in etiquette. Her teacher, a strict but refined lady, promised help her achieve success in society. A girl with memory night from last life experienced mixed feelings. Ethics was far from her habitual weapons. A teacher with a smile assured that will be there and will help you win in any situation. Social battle. Diana took the outstretched hand, realizing that her new life requires another strategies. Our art, words, replaces sword power. Fabulous castle appeared before the girl. How new, border royal. The family was preparing for a lavish ball. This event, it was considered main a test for everyone. Aristocrats' kingdoms, Diana knew what was in store for her heavy night. Surrounded luxury and light, Diana appeared on the arm of his own mentor. They entered the hall full of secular people, smiles and hidden intrigues. For her, this ball became arena, where place weapons occupy looks and words. Watching the glitter of the hall, the girl I was thinking about how a sword and shield could help her cope. But now it's on her watched hundreds, I assessing every step I gathered my courage, realizing that the main thing battle ahead. At night, Diana found privacy on the balcony. Her thoughts were heavy, but suddenly she noticed a familiar one figure. White-haired young man stood below as if call destinies reminding of the past which she couldn't forget. Heart Girl shrank when she recognized the young man. Memories of how he took away from her life in the past came flooding back. This was Cornelius Hyman is a person because of whom she died, leaving behind the past life Knight. She felt anger and fear watching his calm look. Why is he here in this palace among people who see in him only his brilliant appearance and not the darkness of his soul? Diana wondered what to do. Take revenge or try to understand why fate again brought together their paths. Her past and present intertwined like two sides, one coins. Cornelius raised eyes and their views met. Silence of the night filled up tension as if the whole world was holding its breath, breathing. She couldn't turn away, realizing that this meeting will change everything. At the ball, young Knight watches the boy with a cold, with a look which they call future commander army empires. His presence causes voltage. Young girl with curvy red-haired Diana notices an unusual hum outside the hall. She carefully goes out onto the balcony where encounters an unexpected guest. The officer reproaches with a serious look girl for risky behavior. His anxiety seems sincere despite his stern tone. Diana recognizes in the stranger a noble knight who seems to be how Bancroft his manners testify to strict education and feeling debt. The hero offers accompany the girl into the hall, but their views intersect, causing instant embarrassment. The atmosphere becomes more tense. Diana remembers their past experiences, imagining how reacted would earlier. However, she pulls herself together so as not to show it weakness. Officer apologizes for his behavior, sincerely worried. His harsh words give way to softness that causes the girl is surprised. She remains alone on the balcony, lost in thought. The evening landscape and silence intensify her thoughts on the strange meeting. Officer returns, advising not to stay one. He softly offers to return, showing hidden care that touches her heart. Diana, looking closely, realizes that I saw this knight earlier. She remembers rumors about his past and feels increasing curiosity. On the night balcony, there is a young woman, knight in black form, thoughtfully stands guard. His stern gaze and confidence hide internal doubts, roots which lie in its origin. Its loneliness and reluctance making contact became the reason why he did not receive increases. Young girl with red hair introducing herself as her daughter. Aristocratic families. Diana enters into conversation with the knight. Her friendly manner and warm tone break the silence. Asks to him simple but important. The question is his name. The young man reluctantly calls myself Knight Bancroft. His voice sounds reservedly because the title in his family is not passed down by inheritance, which distinguishes him from the nobles' houses. This true always was for him painful. Diana, subtly capturing his mood, makes it clear that she doesn't care about his origin. She puts emphasis on his sword and honor. Her words make Knight look at yourself otherwise. The girl's words become unexpected support. She expresses sincere respect for his dignity, assuring that considers him worthy his role. This touches the young man to the depths of his soul. He embarrassed asks address him simply as Ben. His gesture is a slight bow and his tone becomes a little softer. It's a step forward, Diana, whose warmth broke through the wall of his doubts. Diana, with eyes tenderly speaks words of encouragement full of sincerity. She reminds him about the need to maintain strength even in difficult times. Causes response. Smile. These words penetrate into his soul, giving birth new confidence. For the first time, he feels that can earn admiration without looking back. His view becomes lighter. Meanwhile, elsewhere, two suspicious people discuss their difficult task, to secretly enter the palace. They are clearly plotting something, hiding their intentions. A man with white hair and piercing with a glance reveals itself to the viewer. This Cornelius Hyman, son of the hero of the empire, whose arrival at the palace promises be a turning point for everyone. People in the night city, they walk along a narrow street. Each of them are immersed in their own thoughts. A young man dressed in white reflects on fate, remembering key moments his own life. They stop, and suddenly the older man calls out. His voice and gestures are alarmed, express unexpected surprise and respect. Seeing this as young human, a little is embarrassed. There is a figure standing in front of him. Girl with shining blue, with her eyes the look is full of light. He feels how reality blurs, as if there is something in front of him, unreal but painful familiar. He later recalls their dreams. These images have been haunting him for a long time. Scenes from past and blurred silhouettes. Each in the morning, he wakes up with a feeling loss is something important. In an abandoned monastery unfolds new picture. A girl with white hair appears in front of a female knight. Their eyes meet, and tension fills space around. Red-haired warrior hard breathes looking down. her body covered in scars and blood, but her internal pain, where stronger against the backdrop of devastation, her silhouette seems lifeless. When her sight rises, he becomes softer, as if remembering something important. Deep fatigue can be read in her eyes, but standing nearby figure causes amazing feeling relief. Young man recalls how for the first time felt inexplicable thirst. These feelings appeared along with the lost memory, and only one person could fill his emptiness. This female knight becomes for him embodiment, Sveta. Among darkness, her determination inspires, and everyone her step gives to him. Forces continue your own existence. Her journey from her first battle to greatness becomes for him alive, a reminder of the meaning. Her perseverance forever will remain a symbol that connects their destinies in this world. On the battlefield before sunset, knights are preparing for battle. Among them, one stands out fragile but determined. The figure with red hair is hers. The first battle promises be decisive. Twilight hides silhouettes, but one of figures suddenly settles on the grass. This end, her paths and cold light moons illuminates her farewell moment. Among witnesses, tragedy. Young, white-haired observer. In his eyes, readable mixture, surprise, and horror. He feels that here it is his fault. A fire flares up in his soul, bitterness and anger. He loses control, and the shadow madness penetrates into his heart. This event becomes for him turning point. Falls to the ground, her bloody body, and hers enemy is being asked question. What will be her last words? The moment is full of pain and oppression premonitions. She asks to put an end to her torment so that avoid extra suffering. Her words full of sadness, and her sight eclipses pain. He awakens in his room, heart gripped by fear. Inhaling abruptly, he realizes that there was a dream that returned past. Together with her death, his previous one is ending life. In this, upon awakening, he decides. This is a sign for a new purpose and redemption. Before his mind, with a glance, appears her smile. Was the only one light in the darkness, and he is ready. Give away everything to again her see. Grabbing the dagger, he firmly decides. Everything that to him he needs to meet her. His desire to save and protect her becomes the meaning of his new path. Under cover of night, Cornelius, hidden in the shadows, is about to leave. He has tormented thoughts about meeting Diana, for whom he is ready. Learn to wield a sword again. Cornelius, thoughtfully adjusting his cloak, he decides that meeting her is inevitable. He is ready. Move forward despite the past that connects their destinies. In luxury living room, teacher etiquette offers Diana think about the meaning of the word lady. Question forces girl feel uncertainty. Diana, blushing, tries explain that lady is girl in a dress aristocrat. Her reflections sound sincerely but too much superficially. Teacher explains that lady is an entity in need of protection. She tries to convey to the girl that value is not always visible from the outside. With seriousness, with a glance, teacher asks question again. She waiting for Diana conscious answer that will show her willingness to understand your new way. Diana with pride states that she lady teacher approves her confidence but sees that girl just at the beginning paths to the present understanding. Diana thinks that in this house she remains unprotected. She realizes his vulnerability and decides to become stronger to cope with difficulties. Teacher believes that Diana need to. The weapon is not physical but hers innate beauty and intelligence. This will become her main means of struggle. Inside, Diana accepts solution. She will use their talents and strength to survive in this world where protection should proceed from the inside. Diana, redhead girl with green with eyes, listens instructions. Teacher's etiquette that reminds of the importance appearance for ladies. Heroine silently ponders sitting with a cup tea. Redhead girl experiencing doubts are asked question really. Are all these rules mandatory? Her sight directed downwards, reflecting internal struggle. She said with bitterness reflects on his hostile attitude towards one's own fiery red hair. Memories of troubles because of the bright appearance fill out her thoughts. Diana remembers times when she had to defend herself. Her decisive sight shows that she is ready to cope with difficulties despite the obstacles. Among knights, she was stranger because of his bright appearance, and this created problems. However, she shows that capable protect myself from ridicule. After conflict, Diana gives rebuff to her offenders. Her determination and strength transform ill-wishers in the defeated opponents, leaving them on the ground. Teacher etiquette warns, reminding about the protection that will be needed when Diana will leave a state. For this young woman, surprised reacts by thinking about his own in the future. When speech, the girl starts talking about marriage, thinks about it after all. I never considered it such opportunity. Her pensive sight shows surprise from this topics. Teacher advises conquer people's hearts using his appearance and begins with recommendations to improve relationships with his closest servants. Diana, Feeling reluctant to study this, nevertheless understands necessity. She hesitates, realizing complexity. Upcoming paths, but ready to take steps towards changes. Diana, a girl with fiery hair and bright green eyes. With her eyes, she sits on the sofa and thinks. Her thoughts return to the past life where she was knight. Having decided to leave her swords, she is looking for a way. Protect yourself in the new world. Her reflections break off, and she gets up to walk along the long corridor of the palace. Heavy thoughts take possession. Her consciousness. Without knightly affairs, her is waiting only marriage of convenience. She stopped and thinks about marriage. Never before she didn't think about it like that. Life. Thoughts about the future fill her doubts, but determination does not leave. She's in the hallway, sees Regina and her teacher. The teacher reproaches the girl for poor preparation. His voice is stern, and Regina looks like depressed. Regina suppresses tears. She is hurt and offended by the constant reprimands. Her red eyes full sadness, but she does not allow herself to cry. The teacher reminds girls about tomorrow's task requiring preparations. Diana is silent, agreeing with her thoughts. Busy, completely different. Regina feeling sight. Diana turns around as if feeling her presence. Their views intersect and the silence grows between them. Suddenly, Regina approaches his sister with a complaint. The situation becomes tense. The words sound sharp and air is filling up voltage. Diana walks away, pondering your own future. Her thoughts hovering around marriage, and she trying to imagine what will her husband hoping for the best. Suddenly, her distracted by one of the maids, cheerfully greeting with a basket in her hands. This knocks down Diana with thoughts, and she decides focus on the little things, starting with communication with servants. Diana thoughtfully sitting on the couch. He remembers how important it is to call compassion. Teacher etiquette emphasizes meaning, external type, and ability. Attract attention surrounding. Teacher is divided wisdom. Combination beauty and sadness are capable to arouse desire in others. Protect she, I'm sure that Diana should use this principle. In the hallway, Diana notices an opportunity for action. It faces Regina, whose words are full irritation. The servants are wary, are watching them. Interaction. One of the maids looked embarrassed, gets distracted when he sees Diana. Her polite apology and confusion add ease of the moment, softening tense atmosphere. Diana with sincere takes on emotions, responsibility for what happened. Her words are permeated with regret. She strives. Show your sincerity. Tears on Diana's face emphasize her an attempt to become a support for others. She bitterly regrets that she couldn't be more useful, sincerely apologizing for his weakness. The servant is stunned by such sincerity expression feelings. Her reaction shows that even simple words can produce strong impression on others. Diana remembering instructions, teachers rethinks them. Trying follow these principles. She sees in this an opportunity to improve relations with Regina. However, situation is heating up, it is flaring up quarrel, and Diana suddenly hugs Regina. What it causes confusion and anger in her, but also softens voltage. Suddenly, Diana shows the dark side of their thoughts, ironically declaring her role. In her eyes appears determination, use emotions. How tool influences. Diana, with delight, enjoys your own success in learning etiquette, repeating after the teacher movements and postures, her face beaming with pride and happiness. However, Regina, lost in her emotions, loudly screams, expressing discontent. Her hysterics violates calm, and she runs away, unable to cope with feelings. Diana, with confusion, watches what is happening. Wondering the question is where she could commit mistake. She reflects on the reasons for such stormy reactions. Sisters, the servant who met her in the hallway avoiding direct eye contact. Diana begins to think that I could do otherwise, but does not receive answer to your doubts. She trying to understand the cause of the tension, and again immersed in thoughts, feeling disappointment and light irritation from what is happening. Teacher encourages her, reporting that it's not that simple bad, but the smile on her face brings back Diana confidence in yourself and your actions. In her heart again appears light, and she sincerely thanks teacher for her support. Eyes are filling up sparks, inspiration. But the teacher's soft reminds her that it is forbidden lose vigilance. She notes that it is important to maintain balance and not go overboard. Diana. She is perplexed as to what she is doing. Did it wrong, but accepts remark. Her confidence slightly. She hesitated, but she remains decisive. While meeting another servant, she finds out that what was happening could have been connected with the conflict. The servant hints that better not to remember Regina incident. The maid discovers pebbles in your food and thoughtfully looks at them, trying to figure out who could do that. She feels irritation and light chagrin. She remembers how with love restored torn clothes, but her the efforts were in vain when thing again was spoiled, causing surprise and anger. Diana helping with washing, listening The Handmaid's Tale and realizes that her surround small troubles. Her face becomes serious. She immersed in thoughts. Reflecting on what was happening, she comes to the conclusion that we need to find evidence of who is behind these small atrocities and decides to act. Her determination manifests itself in hot words. She offers struggle, causing surprise in the maid. She notices that it's not very worthy of a young woman lady. Walking along garden, the maid is trying restrainedly explain that need to think about the consequences, but young woman remains at his own, still more inspired. Suddenly, young woman expresses gratitude to the maid for support, calling sincere surprise this. The warm scene fills the moment with sincerity. A maid with a smile admits that she didn't expect it, so warm relationship. Touches her to the depths of her soul, and the atmosphere between them becomes trustworthy. Talking about the possible consequences allows you to understand confidence. A girl who is ready to go forward, even if this will bring her additional difficulties. Young woman calmly prepares for a meeting with the gentleman, realizing that let not everything it went according to plan. But the result is, it suits me after all, her determination unchanged. Diana, dressed in luxury dress, confidently stands in the corridor, attracting attention. Your own calmness. Her appearance and manners clearly stand out that causes interest surrounding. Servant with a cold politeness approaches to speak to her. The servant begins conversation addressing Diana with respect, hinting that there is important information. He mentions that before how she will ask questions, there are something that she should find out. The atmosphere becomes tense, hinting at the coming secret. Memories of the recent past incident come to life. Young woman with tears in my eyes turns to dad. She is clearly upset, and her prayers filled sincere pain that makes a man turn his full attention to her attention. The man is trying console crying girl, but she evades without revealing their own true feelings. When asked about the reasons for his states, she only mysteriously refers to Diana, giving rise to new questions and suspicions. A man lost in thought believes that Diana could have been involved in the situation. However, he soon admits that he himself is to blame for what is happening because of his excessive severity. His thoughts suddenly interrupted solution call. Diana. Meeting Diana with servant is ending unexpected confession. He says that knows about her innocence and emphasizes that the other girls. There is inclination exaggerate. Tension is replaced. Relief, but hints of things to come. Events remain. Diana Young. A girl with bright red hair receives stern advice. She saves confident expression persons, noting that will listen. Her confidence hints at hidden power. Her father, a man with a cold. With a glance, he notices how she has changed. He thinks about her growing up, not realizing that in front of him is no longer just a child, but a determined personality. Diana appears in the room where her waiting father and half-sister. The man throws at her demanding look, and his stepsister hides behind his back, creating voltage. Girl with eyes looks at his family remaining calm. Her expression, as if mocking, makes father to be nervous. Father with indignation requires explanations regarding the accusations from the consolidated sisters. Diana restrainedly. He replies that he has nothing to do with them, showing his strength of spirit. Despite the heat, she admits that the behavior could be perceived. How threat her determination it increases, I'm sure that will cope with by everyone difficulties. She is going to talk to the woman in charge of her training. Causes anger, father. But the girl does not back down even in the face of his pressure. Father's words become all louder. However, Diana remains solid. Her determination break. Injustice begins crack at the edges. The father is in a panic order summary. Sister to leave the room, losing control of the situation. The sister leaves, leaving tension in the air. Diana, not giving up, meets his gaze. Father, trying to figure out how she became like this rebellious. In her, there is a challenge in the eyes, and in the soul, there is a vow to go to the end. Diana Iso is trying his best. Apologize to a strict father while keeping smile, but her efforts are perceived with coldness, irritation. The man orders, don't smile like that anymore. Father reflects on his daughters, noting that lessons etiquette doesn't suit her. He reproaches her and says that she is more fit swordsmanship, but she objects. Redhead heroine categorically refuses to learn the sword, causing surprise and even easy anger. Father. He frowns but maintains control of himself. She persistently repeats that she doesn't want to showing her firmness. Look, full stubbornness causes him easy confusion, but he does not give up. With fatherly, the strict man gives her 2 months to master the basics of etiquette, emphasizing that this necessary for her future provisions. He announces that her preparation is connected with important event, the choice of a maid for the Princess Juliana. His words resonate as an order that does not allow objections. Adding pressure, father threatens, send her to the training ground if she will fail. His severity forces girl, think about it. Diana goes out into the garden thinking about a new task. Her thoughts full indignation. She doesn't want to become someone's servant and feels myself humiliated. During walks, her stubbornness faces reality and she falls tripping. This fall pushes it for rethinking his own provisions. Having risen, she looks around with amazement. Soft light and nature make her think about it. Really, whether this her fate or she, maybe her change. On a small secluded pond hidden among forests, Diana, a girl with fiery red hair, remembers how she often hid here from reproaches. His own mother's. This is the place became her secret. A refuge. A place where she could have stayed alone with myself, dreaming and thinking. Once again, secluded in my beloved in the corner, she thinks about his life and the future. Her thoughts fill out worries about whether he will be able to, whether she correspond high expectations of becoming someone important in particular made princesses, what it seems to her almost impossible. Reflections. Diana become all darker. She holds a branch in his hands and acts out in his imagination, a scene in which magical forces suddenly awaken in her. Incredible power illuminates her determination, and at that moment she wonders how far she is willing to go for her own goals. Energy inside her wakes up and in front of her with eyes arises bright flash. This is no longer just fantasy. Light surrounding her becomes real. Her are overwhelmed contradictory thoughts. What does she need to do so that gain freedom and can whether she change your destiny? Girl understands that the heart is devoid of patriotism feelings, and she is not connected with no one, not with family, not with friends. This awareness only pushes her to the point that search paths for your own salvation. She accepts solution. Steal military secrets, his own countries, and flee to the neighboring state. This seems to her the only way to escape from shackles. Her current life, anger and despair push her to this risky step. But she understands that he doesn't want to be alone. In your thoughts, she remembers Olga, his faithful friend, and decides, take her with you. However, plans are complicated by the fact that her words are unlikely will accept seriously because of her age and appearance. However, Diana, I'm sure that there is the man who will believe her. She full determination contact someone who capable change her destiny and help in its implementation conceived. Her memories are transferred her into the past, into the times when the country was at war with its neighbor state. The letter without a seal delivered to the camp awakens vague feelings in her premonitions and connects her with the events of that era. Unknown. The sender of the letter forces her think about who is behind this internal contradictions and tensions intensify leading to a denouement where her fate intersects with secrets war and it's with your own secrets. Diana, the rusty-haired one girl with a mysterious past, opens the letter. The text is shocking her because in it contained information about military secrets that could change all. She decides to act possessing confidence in the authenticity these data girl directs their attack forces, using received knowledge. How weapon. Later she finds out source of the letter. Author whose personality revealed manipulated her. This human used her, how means to an end own goals. Diana realizes that the one who stood behind everything ready was go to extremes measures to eliminate his own enemy, even if this means betrayal. Young woman understands that in such cases, trust becomes dangerous and decides avoid people like him. But inside, she still are boiling doubts. Trying to understand what was happening, she discovers something strange. Her forces begin to appear, but in an unexpected, frightening way. Form. At first, she considers this illusion, but uncertainty is replaced. Anxiety. Her strength has clearly changed and she doesn't know what this means. Faced with the new manifestation, his own auras, she is experiencing rage and horror, but can't deny change in yourself. Her disappointment, it's growing after all from all that she loved the color. Her auras was her pride. Now he has become alien red. Diana reflects connected, whether this is with the fact that she returned to the past. Her heart. She shrinks from uncertainty, but she is ready to go forward. Young heroine burns the last remnants of determination, swearing never no longer resort to destructive the force that considers your own internal curse. Her stern father, dressed in majestic robe in luxurious room, discusses with an advisor, preparation for an important event, hiding excitement under mask composure. When talk comes to the younger one, daughters, the man barely holds back discontent, considering her not enough smart, and fearing that a sign to her mission may fail. Companion disrupts his thoughts. Important clarification. Father tenses up, realizing that things may not turn out as he expected. Meanwhile, in front of the girl appears Hai Young, a knight whose nobility is visible in every one movement. He bows before her, offering his devotion. She's surprised by his appearance, and he, with warmth in his eyes, explains that left former life to serve only her embarrassment mixed with gratitude. Realizing the self-confidence of the new companion, the girl cannot get rid of the thought that his action looks reckless, but deep down appreciates his determination. Now in front of her is a man who sincerely believes in her. In his eyes, she sees hope and strength, although still doubts deserves whether there is such trust. He is ready. Protect her any at a price, and she, suppressing internal fear, feels myself a little stronger thanks to his unwavering fidelity. Between them arises unspoken connection in which intertwine devotion and responsibility. She has to accept this gift despite the fear of the future. Father, stern and cold, takes away Regina, leaving Diana behind her. Her look is full of pain and resentment. She feels myself rejected, not understanding why she deserved this attitude. In despair and bitterness, she watches them leave. It's difficult for her accept that her actions were not assessed and the parent again gave away preference. Sister. Diana, tormented thoughts, remembers the injustice with which encountered. In her consciousness flickers, the question is why Regina always turns out ahead. Bancroft, devoted knight, explains your own solution. He must go to court because his modest origin has become the cause of many humiliations among comrades. His words about the pain caused injustice awaken in Diana warm memories. She recalls the moment when she herself said that the sword was more important origin. For Bancroft, this moment became rotary. Exactly then, he did it for the first time, heard that his skills and prowess have meaning, not its pedigree. He admits that these words changed his destiny. Inspired with sincerity, he decides to devote himself service to the one who appreciated him on his merits. He bends his knee and swears his own loyalty and declares that his sword is now belongs only Diana. His sincerity touches the girl to the depths of her soul. Diana recalls how I once longed for it myself be recognized for its skills, not gender. This point brings back her into the past where she herself dreamed of justice. Realizing feelings. Bancroft, she accepts his devotion. In her heart is emerging confidence that now she is not alone and she can do it, achieve confessions. On the training field is happening polite dialogue. Young, a girl with bright red hair, favorably thanks the knight kneeling before her for support. Appears nearby, black-haired beauty with a look she confidently represents myself, trying emphasize your own position, but her intentions are not so noble. Gathered, communicate under pretext for acquaintance. Girl with dark, with eyes cleverly uses situation to establish contact, showing their hidden intentions. Her look full, the plan clearly shows internal thoughts. She confident in her superiority, intending destroy existing harmony. Young knight feels awkwardness. Despite her confidence, his look expresses doubt and absence. Sympathy, although he is polite answers. He makes it clear that remains faithful to the one who to him dear. A smile filled with warmth emphasizes his devotion, causing irritation in her. Red-haired young woman feels relief. She understands that the support of a comrade is constant and offers to him inspect neighborhoods to take a break from unpleasant things. Conversations. Rival hides anger for the tortured smile, but her expression gives out true feelings. She is not ready to retreat and is full determination. Continue struggle. In a cozy room, red-haired heroine concentratedly is engaged in embroidery. Realizing the importance of a new skill, she strives to become better, despite bias surrounding. The servants are watching her with zeal and surprise, but the girl doesn't pay attention to their comments. Her determination serves an example for everyone who doubted her. Diana. A girl with red hair and bright green eyes with excitement listened to the words of her kind mentors. She, smiling, encouraged her, assuring that success inevitable. These words became for her motivation to start a new journey. Left alone in the cozy room, girl, I looked at the laptop and thought about the strangeness of the tasks. Although idea seemed a little to her offensive, I decided not to give up and took up embroidery with full solution, achieve result. She concentrated on taking the needle in her hands. Actions accompanied sharp movements. Suddenly in her hand flashed light, and a mixture appeared on the face, surprise and fear. What is happening seemed inexplicable to her. Her sight was chained to a needle that suddenly slipped out from the hands. Diana thought, is it possible? Such simple business as embroidery could be so dangerous. Her determination only intensified. Trying calm down, she deep-breathed mentally, reminding myself that she is not on the battlefield. Using all her inner reserve of composure, girl continued work, gradually gaining control over the situation. Finally, her efforts paid off. She managed to cope with the task and she raised it proudly embroidered circle. Her eyes glowed joy. Was small but important victory for her. Satisfied herself, I relaxed, looking at the result of my efforts. This time, the fabric remained intact and its efforts crowned success. That's how she completed her first embroidery, proud past stage. Diana, overcoming difficulties, persistently studies ballet under the strict supervision of the teacher etiquette. The furnishings of the majestic hall, its efforts and seriousness attitude create tense atmosphere. Teacher sees her efforts, but a stern look speaks of discontent. Teacher does sharp remark, calling Diana deprived of soul. Her golden eyes sparkle with cold, but the words sound accusation. Diana, stunned, cannot find the answer right away, but internal pride begins to rage. Diana is having a hard time holding back their emotions thinking about it. Reproach. Teacher emphasizes that Diana, too, assertive for a lady. These words are deeply wounded her after all. They remind me of her last life when she was knight. Teacher continues the criticism by comparing behavior Diana with a knightly not refined and gentle like should be with the true one. Lady Diana understands that comment accurate, but from this, her resentment becomes more stronger. Teacher describes how should move true ladies. Their steps are light like a butterfly and their manners airy and refined. In the imagination, Diana is born an ideal image, but it seems unattainable to her. Diana sighs, listening instructions, and understands that posture alone is not enough for perfection. Feels myself little lost in the teacher's words, but butterflies in her imagination continue to hover around. Under end lesson, teacher asks, did she realize? Whether Diana their mistakes. She admits that more I have never been able to move like required. The teacher charter completes occupation, leaving Diana alone with thoughts. Diana. She sits down on the stairs, exhausted from training. It seems to her that be lady is hard and painful work. She thinks about his own failures, but the inner spirit of a knight tells you not to give up. Regina's stepsister appears on the stairs. Her gait perfect, and Diana spellbound looks at her. This contrast makes Diana feel myself. It's awkward, but she sees Regina as a role model. Diana decides, try imitate Regina. Her green eyes are filling up determination, and she mentally promises himself not to give up. The inner fire is back, lights up despite fatigue and criticism. Diana carefully does first step, feeling myself light as fluttering butterfly. She remembers former grace and admires your own new possibilities, trying to understand how find self-confidence in this new body. Looking at your own graceful shoes, Diana suddenly remembers her mother. She wonders how she could forget her. The very one perfect woman whom she knew in her heart awakens wish be similar to her. The image of the mother appears in the imagination. Diana surrounded soft radiance. Her mother was embodiment beauty and nobility, serving ideal and example to which Diana wants pursuit. All soul. Diana realizes that her mother being a princess knew the palace very well. Etiquette. Remembering movements mothers she is trying reproduce them. Though past many years since I saw her. Images past, they carry away Diana in childhood. She sees myself small, a girl next to her mother watching everyone her movement. Her mother was sample femininity and strength that inspired Diana from an early age. In memory, there comes a moment when the mother gracefully turns to the side holding elegant umbrella. Her movements were soft and confident, filling space around noble grace. Diana remembers how his mother straightened out shoulders, doing small measured steps. Her gait was exquisite. Every detail seemed thoroughly thought out that awakened admiration. She understands that to achieve such perfection need to copy movements. Body's mother. In her imagination, images mothers and their own merge, filling her determination. However calm Diana is, violated unexpected event. The servant runs into the room with important news that causes indignation in one of those present for noise and disturbance. The servant justifies himself by claiming that happened something incredible. His excitement and genuine excitement, they force surrounding listen, despite the initial discontent. Diana, determined girl with bright green. With his eyes, he hands the document to the blonde-haired man, to the man in gold form, stating that he must take a look at this personally. His face expresses confused, he immerses himself in studying. Piercing sight men reveals his anxiety and tension. He slowly raises his head. His thoughts are violated spectacle that forces ask question. What here is happening? Cornelius Cymon, with white hair and a sharp mind, is depicted in a family portrait surrounded by your own relatives. His view constrained and tense, as if he had been carrying a heavy burden since early age. Young Cornelius stood out for his intelligence, even in his early years. Age striking surrounding your own abilities. But his his body did not allow him to fully realize his potential. Their talents that caused regret. Painful memories past pursued Cornelius. He suffered from uncertainty, his own origin that made him closed and susceptible to internal experiences. Hidden emotions that torment Cornelius turned him into a human irritable and vulnerable. At the moment of extreme understress, he allowed himself to behave in a way that surrounding considered strange. In the castle hall, he encounters Diana, who is busy weapons training. Her confident movements contrast with his detached, with a glance creating tension in the air. The man turned attention to what is happening, demands in a stern tone, explanations, but Diana saves composure. Ready answer, any claims coming from him? Cornelius, on the other hand, finds himself in the spotlight. His piercing look and misunderstanding of what happens. They push the man to demand meetings in the office. The current situation is heating up the situation. Diana realizes the seriousness of the situation moment, but inside her lights up unquenchable feeling. Determination meet the challenge that Cornelius puts it before her. Cornelius Hyman, young heir, fearlessly stated to his own to the father that wants take possession. Art, swordsmanship. Father, fair-haired and stern, thoughtfully looked out the window, doubting his decision. Son, believing that the path of a swordsman was not for him. Attentively peering into the silhouette sun, he recalled how that rose to fourth floor after what found himself exhausted. Such simple tasks were set under doubt his physical preparation that more strengthened confidence, father. Cornelius. Its hard breathing and clutching my chest barely stood on his feet, but did not give up his father's words about the sword's inadequacy to him. Irritated, and he cursed myself for my shortcomings. Forces, having decided, proved the opposite. In a luxuriously furnished office, father reminded son what home tutor rejected. Cornelius expressed protest. However, boy, he waved it off, thinking that the tutor was of no use. I didn't teach him anything useful. In another room among luxurious furniture, Cornelius zealously collected a stack of books. When asked why, they to him he is unperturbed, replied, "That is looking for the knowledge hidden in these volumes, ignoring doubts surrounding." Having stacked the books in a neat pile, he defiantly looked at his father, declaring that will ready respond to his claims after studies materials. These words were full confidence despite his youth age. The father, watching him, thought about his determination, Cornelius. With a slight smiling and shining with his eyes, he promised that despite the differences, he would always will open to dialogue and not afraid challenges. In response, father, I recalled a letter where the tutor described Cornelius as daring and self-confident. These words echoed in his thoughts as he pondered how to deal with his son's stubborn nature. Cornelius, feeling tension, mockingly responded to the claims, father demonstratively holding his posture, as if confirming the veracity of the characterizations in the letter. Inside, he was preparing for a new round of argument. The father, finally turning to his son, suggested to him go further, learn directly from him. This, an unexpected step, became a turning point that confirms their readiness. Resist disagreements. Cornelius Kyman, a young guy with white hair and piercing eyes, blue with his eyes, he looks at his father with an expression determination, refusing follow his instructions. His gaze is full of hidden feelings and inner conflict. Father Cornelius, a fair-haired man with green eyes loses patience. Their tense talk escalates into a dispute where Cornelius is being asked what father wants from him, remembering what he was called in childhood. Immersed in his own memories, father recalls the words he once said he threw at his son, "Little monster." This is the past, left a mark on both of them, causing painful everyone has emotions. After unpleasant conversation, Cornelius reservedly but firmly says that intend leave. His words sound cold, but there is a feeling in them. Wish, avoid conflict, and defend your position. Wandering through the vast halls, Cornelius reflects on his role in the family and the title of Archduke, which to him impose. He prefers that these responsibilities. The older brother was doing it, but he himself wants to stay away. The servant, worried the state of the young master, is trying offer help, but Cornelius doesn't want to attention and asks to be left alone, which makes the atmosphere more tense. The servant shares guess that the owner probably scolded him severely. Cornelius, what could have affected his mood? With irony, he suggests talking about where to go next. Cornelius decides go to the training ground, ignoring the servant's assumptions. He intends continue training, feeling that his physical weakness requires working on yourself. The servant is surprised sharp change in Cornelius, remembering how earlier that avoided any loads. Now he persistently requires continued sword training despite his restrictions. When asked why he suddenly got carried away art of combat, Cornelius leaves unanswered question. His determination indicates that there is hidden a goal that doesn't give to him peace. Cornelius Hyman, young a boy with white hair and deep blue with eyes, thoughtfully looked at the world around me, immersed in my own reflections. He was known his own love for books and always was surrounded sets volumes. His mentor with concern watching the boy. I remembered how that always was immersed in reading as if finding solace in learning other people's stories. In the library, their conversations often began with discussions another book. In one of days, Cornelius suddenly asked important question. Is it possible? Whether trust your own eyes if you will meet the one you saw only in a dream? He was thinking about how reality could intersect with illusions. Boy opened up to the mentor, telling about his in a dream where he met girl. He wondered question. What would happen if would it turned out to be real, existing in this world? Reflections. Cornelius were interrupted when he fell to his knee as if faced with the invisible heaviness. He tried to explain their thoughts to the mentor but could not finish reveal their his attention attracted wooden sword. Cornelius took it in his hand with determination, saying that the weapon meant something to him. His gaze became firm and determined. The mentor was stunned to learn that the sword occupied in life boy's special place. He exclaimed that similar thoughts led them to Agrian. Cornelius restrainedly confirmed then more struck interlocutor. Boy suddenly interrupted conversation, making it clear that doesn't want to any more continue discussion. His face expressed stubbornness and a look was directed into the void. His thoughts accepted another turn of events. He realized that the girl seen in the dream is important to him, and in another time or in one place he would protect her using a sword or other methods. However, doubts never left him. Cornelius. I thought about how to deal with this heaviness. He understood what awaited him, not an easy path. The word, war, flashed through his thoughts as a symbol of the upcoming fight for their own ideals. Cornelius, with white hair, is trying to prove something to himself. His look tense in his determination, readable, hidden threat as if he was planning something important. Juliana is unaware of danger. The situation in the palace is heating up. Cornelius announces a short break, but this only camouflage. The atmosphere becomes all more tense as if behind the scenes unfolds something important. Another character worried realizes that is happening. He mentally warns unknown girl to she escaped and didn't look back. In his opinion, the hunt for her had already begun. Juliana sits by the window, absorbed your own thoughts. She's slightly distracted by the feeling that they are talking about her. This creates feeling premonitions as if trouble at all close. There are several in the yard girls discussing something after seeing them. Delighted views directed at the strolling Princess Julian, what becomes a reason for envy and quiet gossip. Princess gracefully goes out for a walk accompanied by her maid. Elegance amazes surrounding every detail of her image speaks of nobility and beauty. Someone from girls notices that her father king must to be proud such daughter. Attention, everyone is glued to Juliana. Her grace causes genuine admiration. Royal princess walks through the garden. Her accompanies security, what only emphasizes her significance. She looks like serene, but her sight gives out internal alarm. On a walk is happening unexpected meeting. To Juliana, someone is turning to violating her calm. This moment seems important, as if fate had decided intervene. Small, the girl with delight shouts out, name Princess Juliana, turns, smiles, illuminates her face, but the atmosphere continues. Stay tense. Juliana, Princess Kingdoms immersed in their thoughts. To her with joy and greetings, fits Agnes. Illegitimate the king's daughter accompanied his own nanny. Agnes is clearly happy to meet her sister. Agnes, it is recognized that knew about the presence in advance Juliana, and came specially to see her. In her eyes is on fire delight when she mentions the future, an event that is rumored to be taking place soon in the royal palace family. Small Agnes sincerely admires Juliana, praising her privileged position in the palace. She dreams live nearby, imagining how they would conduct days playing together if they were not disturbed circumstances. Juliana, hiding her slight sadness, admits that I would like to, too, see Agnes closer. Her sight becomes thoughtful when she realizes that there divides not only distance, but also circumstances their birth. Agnes, overflowing optimism, begins fantasize about the possibility of persuading my father allow her to live in the palace. Her enthusiasm infectious, but in Juliana's voice can be heard restrained doubt, reflecting reality. Their provisions. Princess reflects on the possibility of such changes. She doubts he can whether their father executes such a simple request. Juliana understands that their connection complicated political and family intrigues. Agnes tries raise mood sister offering simple joy tea party. Juliana, despite being tired, agrees, although her thoughts remain far from this moment. Their talk becomes a reminder of their difference. Juliana Soft reproaches Agnes for too loud speech taking care of her voice. Care Sisters touches Agnes, who with delight notices the princess's kindness, considering this manifestation sincere love. With a smile on Agnes's face, thanks Julian for her attention and warmth. She sincerely is glad that there connects. Although would kinship and does not cease, admire her nobility and kindness despite all obstacles. Juliana remains thoughtfully watching the younger one's sister. In the depths, her eye readable, easy sadness and warmth. After all, she appreciates these moments, realizing how much their meetings are rare and important for both. Princess Juliana, standing in the square under clear sky with a smile, says words of farewell. Her long dress flutters while she runs away, leaving spectators in the lungs. Confusion, Agnes looks after her, holding back emotions. Agnes, located under with a snow-white umbrella, thoughtfully communicates with one from her maids. She clarifies that next meeting with Juliana passed in another place, showing your own displeasure with the recent meetings. Agnes decides, change habitual place walks and immersed in thoughts, walks past bright flower beds. Her strict posture and cold expression faces reflect internal tension and thoughts about how avoid unwanted collisions. Agnes's maids are gathering around, no respectfully supporting the umbrella. Agnes, hiding irritation, leads myself restrained, but her thoughts are clearly busy recent events, which can be seen from the detached look. Agnes attentively looks at the departing figure, Juliana's. Her calm face, a little. It gets dark and in the eyes flickers hidden hostility as if her something special touched. She mentally emphasizes how much she dislikes Juliana. Remembering backstory, Agnes interested his own new maid, Diana Resley. The servant confirms that Diana has related connection with Juliana, adding intrigue and strengthening voltage between girls. Agnes reflects on the past. Her mother, ex-princess, was forced to go out marry a viscount. She notes severity father who accepted this decision that only strengthens her feeling injustice. Juliana suddenly catches scrap conversation and looks stunned. Something in the maid's words makes her strong emotional reaction that she barely maybe hide. Name Diana Resley causes flow, Juliana's memories. She immerses himself in his thoughts, trying to understand the hidden connections and reasons why Agnes treats her so coldly. Agnes watches as Juliana communicates with the courtiers and feels hidden pride in one's own manipulation. Externally, she remains calm, but her emotions issue true attitude to events. Diana, remembering the long and painstaking learning, listens to the words of his etiquette mentor. Teacher is experiencing pride in what has been done, work assuring that the efforts paid off. Diana, embarrassed, thanks her for her patience and efforts. Diana emphasizes that her success is the result of the teacher's instructions, and she herself, I just tried to follow advice. Remembering how much was labor invested, woman holds back emotions, calling this transformation. Mentor notices that Diana turned into a real one, a lady who is ready to present herself with dignity in society. However, woman realizes that preparation girls was one of the most complex tests in her life. Diana now becomes pride his own environment. Her is waiting the position of a princess's maid, Juliana, which teacher describes how an honorable and promising beginning that opens new horizons for her ward. At the last moment before departure, mentor reminds Diana on the importance her paths and about what all it was for the sake of the future. Diana promises not to let him down and sets off on his journey to the royal service. Next to the carriage, Diana sees off her loyal knight Bancroft offering a hand for support. Girl thanks him with restraint, smiling, feeling lung excitement before something new. Stage his own life. Getting into the carriage, Diana says goodbye to the guide. Bancroft confidently confirms its readiness, accompany her, strengthening her determination. The carriage slowly leaves, leaving behind scenes past. Departure in the distance, Diana notices her Regina's half-sister. Observing the situation, she becomes enraged, believing that such an honor should belong to her. Hers disturbance begins call discontent surrounding. Regina reproaches his own father, asking why Diana was awarded trips to the palace. Not her. Her words sound how accusation filled disappointment and jealousy. Father Regina remains unperturbed, rejecting her complaints. There is a cold look in his gaze, rigor that strengthens gap in their relationships, emphasizing the contrast between girls and their destinies. Regina argues with her father. The girl worries that his father is strict, accepts decisions without taking into account her opinion, and this may badly affect the relationship with the princess. But the father categorically states that solution, final, adding to it hard offense. Regina is trying appeal to him, but he leaving. She is confused. Her confusion is replaced quiet anger because she doesn't feel strong enough influence the situation. Lonely figure girls in an empty yard emphasizes her despair. Disappointment and powerlessness grow into a storm of emotions. Regina falls to the ground, giving in to her anger. Her screams echo are carried throughout the yard. She feels injustice what is happening her. It's as if no one values your opinion. Meanwhile, Diana sitting by the window carriages, reflecting on the future meeting with the princess. She looks like thoughtful, but her calm hides excitement. This moment shows her inner strength and self-control. With Bancroft, Diana is divided your own concern. Her thoughts disturb, but the knight calms her. He supports her with a kind word, and the girl for a moment allows himself to relax, realizing that she is not alone. Diana reflects on the palace that became for her almost How House. In the past, being a knight, she accustomed to the battlefield and the palace perceived how less dangerous but still unfamiliar place. She tries save calmness. When the carriage arrives at the palace, the knight reminds that Princess Kind Man words give Diana confidence. She knows that the meeting is important, but it awaits warm reception despite her internal doubts. Knight notices that Diana seems more mature than her peers. She answers with ease, ironically noting that he seems unusual to her. This short conversation helps her take her mind off what's coming unrest. Diana, I'm sure that knows which one, human princess Juliana. The thought of the upcoming meeting remains an important moment of it thoughts. She realizes that this interaction will determine a lot in her new life. Entering the palace gates, Diana looks at the majestic building, but in her heart remains, stay away from people who can bring pain thoughts mixed. But I'm determined to face what's to come test. Diana, a girl with bright red hair and green eyes arrives at the majestic palace which shines luxury. Her meets Strick, the senior maid who emphasizes importance, her responsibilities in this place. Diana evaluate closely, looking at her appearance and having made sure of its neatness. They give advice. Always support, this is the order. This becomes her first testing on the new place. The senior maid leads Diana through the glittering corridors of the palace. Her warn that the maid's reputation directly will affect her image. Highness's, therefore, responsibility is huge. Diana remains thoughtful, aware the burden she will have to bear. Her sight gives out mixture excitement and internal determination. After all, she understands that the mission is important. Approaching the big one's golden doors, Diana hears that her represent. She has a peer's disturbing feeling. After all, she for the first time will see the one she is destined to serve. Entering the room, she meets Juliana, a girl with golden hair and refined manners. The sophisticated look is captivating, and Diana understands that she is facing a difficult task. Human. Princess with a light smile greets Diana. This one meeting fills her easy warmth, but Diana still feels significance, moment, and inner trepidation. Looking at Juliana, Diana can't help but admire her nobility and beauty. She feels like a new birth is taking place in her soul. Respect and desire justify the trust placed in her. It's getting tied up, their first thread. Communication, Diana feels what is in store for her play important role in life. This girl's as well prove that she is worthy of serving her. Diana gracefully bows, introducing himself. How daughter Viscount. Her manners issue education and restraint, and the voice sounds with notes of confidence and devotion. Diana, finding herself in the magnificent hall for the first time, looked at the Princess Julian with such excitement. The realization of how close she now being with her caused Diana embarrassment, but she tried to look confident. Juliana, without hiding his own goodwill, I noticed that she had never happened friends her age and expressed joy of opportunity. Meet Diana. This is confession touched girl. With a smile, Juliana assured Diana what their related connections necessarily will lead to a strong friendship. Her soft words and shining Diana made a smile feel the warmth and sincerity in her intentions. Diana was surprised, so benevolent attitude. She didn't expect that Princess will be so open and sincere hopes for their friendship. For her, this became an important moment that awakened said emotions. Princess suggested join in the tea party, demonstrating cozy atmosphere. Elegant desserts and gourmet table setting emphasized majesty moment. Diana felt that her life changed for seconds. However, deep down, Diana felt something strange connected with the princess. Its feeling was barely subtle, but so much so strong that caused internal anxiety. Juliana, laughing, asked if it was possible whether call Diana just by name. Her Diana's soft voice and friendly manner of communication allowed her agree, leaving the official tone in the past. Princess mentioned her intention arranged tea party, which Diana necessarily must come. This gesture became a symbol of their rapprochement and opened new page in their relationships. Diana expressed gratitude for the invitation, noting how flattered she was be part of such an event. She felt sincere joy from this communication. Juliana promised to introduce Diana to the rest. assuring that their friendship will become strong. The warm atmosphere of tea drinking left a lasting impression on Diana, feeling acceptance and hope for the best future. Diana X Night watches Juliana sitting at the table. She notices how Princess suddenly looks girlishly innocent, thoughtfully leaning over a cup tea, what causes Diana lung astonishment. After Diana's busy day returns to the estate surrounded majestic towers and blooming gardens, reflects on his new place, and prepares for a conversation with people who have become part of her new life. Having met the maid, Olga Diana notices her enthusiastic look. Girl sincerely rejoices. Returned Diana, and with his eyes, asks about her first day in the palace. Diana tells that Juliana suddenly invited her for tea. At this moment, Olga becomes more inspired and impatient, asks how I met the princess. Diana notes friendliness, Juliana, but inside her is growing inexplicable feeling discomfort. She thoughtfully remembers their meeting, trying to understand that exactly caused strange feeling. Trying to find an explanation. Your own feelings. Diana remembers sight, Juliana. She understands that behind the external softness, Princess's is hiding something deep and unknown that causes her alarm. The maid is trying to find out that exactly worries Diana, but she decides to leave hers. Thoughts to herself. She only mentions that she received something unexpected. Invitation to tea party. Olga is shocked news about the tea party in the palace. She sincerely believes that Diana incredibly lucky to be worthy of such attention, with sides the only one princess's kingdoms. Left alone, Diana continues think about what happened. Her thoughts anxious, she's not sure how respond to attention. Juliana, and this only strengthens her internal doubts. Feeling fatigue. Diana is trying hide from thoughts, but the maid again interrupts hers. Hers questions about life in the palace they force. Diana think about how much deep her past and present intertwined in the new reality. Diana Young, a girl with bright red hair, recalls a strange moment, as if something important flashed before her with her eyes. She stops thinking is not whether this part her last life when she was knight. Princess Juliana, being in her exquisite room, thoughtfully listens to the maid's report. Her as usual calm expression faces violates lung irritation because of the small misunderstandings related to tea ceremony. Princess notices that someone allowed it mistake but admits his guilt. Carefully watching the maid, she decides that this case will be a test for her devotion. Juliana is experiencing internal contradiction but retains composure. Diana becomes object checks. Princess ponders stands whether warn girl about the upcoming difficulties. Weighing the pros and cons, Juliana decides to let events happen, develop without interference. The maid is puzzled by her orders, ladies, but understands that her words have more deep meaning. Juliana watches everyone, her step assessing her decisions and reactions to complex situations. Juliana, I'm sure that life in the palace requires endurance and intelligence. She decides that Diana, how her maid must be able to cope with the unexpected tests to correspond her high standards. Emotions between them gradually are heating up. Juliana, playing chess, sees this strategy as in his decision, relatively Diana. She believes that only the strongest can survive in a world of intrigue. Diana continues fulfill assignments without even suspecting that Princess watches everyone her step. This is forces Julian think about how her, the new maid, will show myself in such a way difficult situations. Juliana recalls how are important first impressions. She decides that the upcoming tea reception will become her skill test. Organize an event without errors. She realizes that any mistake will reflect on her status. The day of the reception arrives, Juliana comes out in an elegant dress exuding grace and strength. Under her intently with a glance, Diana feels responsibility for success. This event's realizing that this her chance to prove her loyalty. Diana, possessing unusual confidence and feeling responsibility in the role of a servant, talks with the advisor in the courtyard. She thoroughly checks that everything goes according to plan, because events should go flawlessly, especially in the Eyes Kingdoms. Juliana, the only one Princess Kingdom, reflects on preparations. Externally, she is calm, feels lung excitement. Everything is going well, good but not without a little unrest, due to one exception, which her little worries. Princess with a pensive expression faces is thinking about how will perceive guests, her maid Diana, especially if she's late. Her thoughts seem slightly sly because she's curious. Observe the reaction surrounding. Among the lavishly decorated courtyard of Julian looks like she is elegant in her outfit. Restrainedly is glad that event going according to plan, at the same time checking latest details to avoid unpleasant surprises. Diana surprised to learn that a woman who arrived on behalf of the company provided her with assistance in preparing princesses. She didn't expect that Juliana will instruct such an important task to another unfamiliar one to the girl. Sight. Diana heads towards the tables where the mysterious one was pointed out woman. In this time, she notices her in the company of other servants who help with treats. This causes her surprise and considerable interest. Diana sees how Stranger cleverly interacts with others by attracting the guests' attention. She has arises. The question is how she ended up here because her appearance seems absolutely unexpected. Princess notices Diana and their views meet Juliana restrainedly, smiles asking the girl about her presence. Their dialogue filled hidden intrigue like as if they're checking each other's intentions. Diana justifying your own presence, it is recognized that almost she was late, but she was lucky. And I found myself in the garden on time. Her sincerity brings lightness in their conversation and creates an atmosphere of trust. They discussing the beauty of the royal garden at the same time hiding their true feelings. Interaction. Juliana and Diana leaves easy raid tension. After all, each of them understands that is happening something more than just secular talk. Diana decides go to the garden early in the morning to enjoy silence and beauty surrounding world. However, Juliana, the only one Princess Kingdoms, distrustfully looks at her, believing that Diana has something clever planned. Juliana noticing something strange behavior, Diana wonders about her motives. Her sight is drawn to the unexpected figure for Diana that causes feeling anxiety and surprise. Diana catches a close look, sight Juliana, but instead confrontation. She smiles, understands that their meeting called confusion. After all, she didn't follow ordinary daily routine. Juliana decides that Diana is not as simple as she seems. It seems and expresses your own opinion about this. She makes it clear that experience and status make her more insightful than Diana. I was counting on it. In the castle, the maids ask Diana why she left her home so early chambers. She answers that it's just hers habit. Barely noticeable sadness reflected in her voice, but she tries hide this. Diana reflects on his role in the kingdom, being the only one female knight she attracted many attention. Remembering this, is she bitterly. She smiles but admits that she has learned to cope with difficulties. Working harder than others, Diana got used to it. Wake up earlier. Everyone in the dark carriage, she reflects on the importance of being ideal, too. No one found any reason to criticize. Juliana notices that Diana is already getting ready for tea. This causes the princess genuine interest, and she offers his help secretly, watching everyone action. Diana and Juliana conduct time in the garden. Diana wishing to win over the princess he offers. Try cookie. Juliana reluctantly agrees, but this becomes the first step towards them. Rapprochement. Juliana, feeling confident, says, Diana, what in order to achieve her level will be required many years. Diana only smiles. Accepting challenge and in their relationships is emerging ease. At the garden reception, Princess Juliana receives guests, including which present young Diana daughter Viscount. Her appearance causes surprise because for many it is unknown. Juliana greets Diana, showing location and warmth. Some guests whispering to each other, wondering who maybe be unfamiliar girl. However, beauty and refinement manners, Diana immediately attract attention. Her appearance causes interest, especially among young people courtiers. Diana mesmerizing his own grace and simplicity. Guests discuss how she managed to save modesty despite the aristocratic origin. She thanks Princess for the opportunity to be present at the reception. Guests they are starting be interested her family and origin. Their sincere curiosity caused by sophistication. Diana, who despite her youth knows how hold yourself with dignity. Juliana with pride represents her to the public. Princess announces that Diana, the second daughter, Viscount, recently became her companion. She hopes that everyone will show friendliness and will be accepted girl. How new part their circle. Juliana's words bring warmth to the atmosphere. Diana, he is happy to meet you, and smiles represents myself gathered. Her sincerity and charm conquer the guests' sympathies. They welcome her with friendliness, interest, asking. At that time, how Diana, she talks to the guests, her image evokes admiration. Young girl, despite her modest position, radiates charm and goodwill, attracting attention each. Courtiers notice her modesty and good manners, assuming that she will pursue master courtier etiquette. Diana expresses desire to learn, and her readiness for something new is evoked. Respect. Gathered. They see in Diana not only new a figure at court, but also a potential friend. Juliana sincerely believes that their friendship will bring joy. Both, and the atmosphere of the reception becomes more warm. During conversation, someone is celebrating her exquisite dress and asks who made it. Diana, slightly embarrassed, modestly replies that this is the merit of the courtiers. Tailors thanks which her image turned out like this. Diana, watching Juliana, was struck by her manners and grace speech and behavior reminded me of a noble knight that caused sincere surprise and admiration among present. Bancroft, smiling jokingly, supported assumption that Juliana is real, a knight in the guise of a lady. His cheerful manner lightened the atmosphere, causing smiles from the guests. Other ladies discussing Julian celebrated her sophistication. However, one of them asked whether she had studied Juliana to wield a sword, because in her graces, strength was visible. Juliana, noticeably confused, she denied her involvement in the military art, citing the absence tan on the skin, what allegedly proved her lack of involvement in training. The guests agreeing confirmed that activities in the sun leave traces. Juliana, laughing, assured that she too busy with lessons etiquette to think about the sword. Diana, with indignation, watched as Juliana cleverly avoided suspicions. I thought Princess cunning and dexterous that all more irritated her. After events, Diana returned home exhausted. Memories of her interaction with Juliana caused contradictory feelings in her feelings and fatigue. Bancroft met Diana, expressing confidence that Juliana took care of her. His sincerity called Diana mixed emotions. Diana, irritated by the praise directed at Juliana, reflected that Bancroft would experience her care to understand her true nature. Her thoughts were full sarcasm and indignation, however. Her determination to understand Juliana only was strengthened that promised new confrontation in the future. Diana, thinking about the strange behavior Princess Juliana, trying to understand why the attitude towards her has changed so much. Remembering past life, she realizes that Juliana's character earlier was completely different, and that's it, causes her alarm. She comes to the conclusion that Juliana may not have any sympathy for her. This stunning Diana after all, according to her. In my opinion, the princess has no reason to hate. Bewilderment forces her analyze their recent meetings. Diana, trying to understand why the princess treats her so distantly and coldly. She afraid that because of this, situations her can kick out from palace. Thoughts on possible consequences fill her despair. She recalls how many efforts was applied in order to obtain a place at court. However, threat be exiled darkens all of her efforts. These thoughts overflowing her feeling, helplessness and guilt towards the family. One day, in a fit of rage, someone throws a sword on the floor, accusing Diana in disgrace family. This moment becomes a symbol of the humiliation and pressure she has to endure. Encounter something new surroundings. Diana understands that he can't stay passive and just wait until situation. It will correct itself. She decides take steps to change your own position. Having acquired determination, fight for your own future. She comes to the conclusion that need to conquer trust Juliana. With this goal, Diana develops a plan to bring the princess to yourself and strengthen their relationship without losing faith in your own forces. Diana begins be interested in what like Princess Juliana to find a way understand her better. The maid helps her giving advice on tastes and hobbies. Girls, royal blood. It turns out it was Juliana is fond of romantic stories Diana sees in this opportunity. Tie up more close contact, hoping that their general interest will help destroy barriers between them. Now Diana full hopes she is ready to go to great lengths to strengthen their relationship with Juliana. This plan instills in her confidence and she believes that will be able to overcome any obstacles. Diana, being a servant, admired photography, aristocratic ladies in gold frame. She thought about how popular such images, not only among commoners like her, but also among young noblewomen that awakened delight and inspiration in her. Into the room entered a girl with bright red hair and a mischievous smile. She suggested Diana go to the bookstore with her, as if I couldn't wait share new impressions. I was stunned by such an offer, but quickly agreed, although not without surprise. Once in the store, they greeted Kind the seller. He asked what exactly they're looking, but the redhead young woman confidently replied that we'll pick up something suitable for Diana. Look, Diana filled up curiosity and anxiety. Salesmen spent there into the depths of the store, showing lots of shelves with books. Diana, finding herself in such a place for the first time, was shocked. Quantity volumes. It seemed to her that I used to live in a world where books were barely had meaning. Diana looked at the shelves as if tried realize all this book world. The red-haired friend said that books are still popular and their interest causes set emotions. This made Diana think about how much interesting these works. Diana picked up the book, which was decorated exquisite and attractive. Reading the lines, I felt the text coming to life, drawing in my head. Paintings, it seemed to her that heroine novel as if looks at her and shares your own secrets. In another part, stories, voltage increased. A woman in a rich hall discussed with another an exciting moment involving precious stones. Stones' conversation was saturated intrigues and hidden hints adding drama what is happening. Young woman tried explain, but strict the woman did not accept her excuses. The tension grew because she had to face a powerful wave condemnation and emotions that strengthened heat scenes. Splash emotions led to a conflict where the imperious lady demanded from the girl acknowledge her inferior role. She openly stated that the girl is not worthy of her son, what caused Diana shock and disappointment. In conclusion episode, the stern lady did not back down, strengthening your own pressure. The girl was faced with a choice which would change her fate. Emotions were boiling and the future remained unclear, adding depth unfolding dramas. Diana was shocked to learn that pregnant. Her shock was so strong that she couldn't control her emotions, expressing her pain and confusion while standing in the middle room filled tense atmosphere. Juliana, holding the novel in her hands, read it with interest, immersing herself in the exciting history. She smiled, finding content exciting that revealed her romantic nature hidden behind her outer appearance, severity. In the library, Diana came across a book that called her curiosity. She tried get at her from the shelf despite the caustic comments with the maid's side. She was impatient, find out that hidden behind the mysterious cover, Juliana's maid laughed, watching the actions Diana. She teased her for being too kind and naive that caused the girl felt slight annoyance. But Diana saved your own dignity, trying ignore unpleasant comments. Princess Juliana spent her days. She walked leisurely through the castle grounds with an elegant view, looked carefree, enjoying rare moments of peace and tranquility. For the rest time, Juliana diligently was engaged in studying, sitting at my desk, and concentrating reading books. Her determination and discipline gave her even more royal greatness. Diana was make up Juliana company during rest. They sat on the balcony, surrounded beauty nature. However voltage, there was a feeling between them when conversations were reduced to simple pleasantries. Diana gave Juliana a book, hoping that this will become a bridge to their rapprochement. The princess accepted the gift, although the cold manner did not give away no joys or gratitude. Juliana, I looked at the book but with dissatisfaction noted that this is a novel. She refused to read it contemptuously, declaring that similar stories are not for her, preferring more serious topics. Diana felt offended upon hearing refusal Juliana. However, she didn't argue, keeping friendly expression faces, though inside experienced deep disappointment due to misunderstanding between them. Juliana examines the book she was given as a gift. Diana, she coldly states that such a gift would be appropriate only idlers, hinting at a disregard for luxury. Having refused, she asks, pick up the gift. Juliana, despite her words, cannot hide interest in the book. She restrainedly smiles, realizing that Princess expected another reactions. Her thoughts busy the content of the book, although pride does not allow this show. The girl, enjoying the moment on the terrace, talks about her interests. She mentions that reads instructions and is engaged in walks, adding that embroidery sometimes helps her relax. Princess, thoughtfully looking into the distance, he admits that from time to time plays chess. This causes Diana was surprised, perceives chess, how predominantly male passion in their society. Diana expresses surprise and Juliana admits that she often has to play alone due to the lack of a partner. Her sadness barely, it is noticeable. Carefully takes a cup of tea thinking about his isolation. Diana suddenly offers play together. Her face illuminates friendly smile and she confidently declares that she is ready to draw up company to the princess, showing hidden taking care of her. Juliana is surprised and does not believe heard carefully. Clarifies Diana, firmly standing. Her ground asks to bring a chess set board to brighten up the princess's day. When board appears in front of them, Juliana warns that he is not going to give in. She's serious and determined, show their abilities, considering Diana newbie. Game begins and the atmosphere between girls is filling up respect and mutual interest. Chess become a symbol of their invisible dialogue and hidden friendship born over the board. Diana confidently smiles, showing that she is not afraid challenges. Her calmness and fortitude inspire respect, creating feeling equality between her and the princess. Diana, confidently sitting at the chess table opposite Juliana with a slight smile, begins game. Julian concentratedly analyzes every move. Surprised courage Diana, who from the first minutes captivates initiative. The atmosphere is heating up. Juliana tensely peering at the board, trying straighten out situation, but unexpectedly Diana checkmates the queen. The princess is at a loss. Looks at the board, not believing that lost so quickly. Restraining surprise, Juliana admits skill rivals. In her thoughts slips through doubt. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But the look Diana gives out experienced player what causes interest. Diana gracefully responds to a compliment princess's offering play another game. Juliana, hiding her annoyance behind a smile, agrees. Looking at the confidence, Diana, she already has a premonition. Difficult game. It's passing some minutes and the result is disappointing. Juliana endures defeat time after time. In her head is born thought, why Diana so skillful? Perhaps she have you been training all your life? Hiding, smile Diana. She insists that she's just lucky Juliana. All Moore loses confidence, but does not give up hiding, growing respect for the opponent. Against the background of her, one thought clearly sounds, Diana unusual. Diana, with a sly look with a sparkle in his eyes, he remembers how she took possession chess skill. Princess will never know how many nights there were dedicated to training too. Now look innocently confident. Situation. It gets to the point of being comical tension, but Diana hides smile. She reminds Juliana what studies win through practice. Her calm excerpt contrasts with the internal joy. Diana relaxed, looking out the window enjoying the moment. At that moment, a maid joins them, reporting an unexpected visit. Princess turns to find out who came. In the room appears Agnes, Diana's younger sister, is a full-grown energy and joy. Her ringing voice brightens the atmosphere. She happily exclaims that she has come, and her shining smile causes warm emotions. Girl with green eyes and red hair for the first time meets new familiar, his own sisters. Juliana. Her words reflect uncertainty, but a look, curiosity, hides true intentions. When Juliana welcomes the guests, Agnes responds in a friendly manner, but their communication causes the third girl's, Diana, mixed emotions. The atmosphere is heating up due to differences in behavior. Agnes comes with enthusiasm, hoping to spend time with his sister, but notices that her relationship with Juliana seems tense. She begins doubt how much close they are actually case. Juliana addresses Agnes sternly, pointing at her lack of manners that forces girl think about why from her require follow etiquette. Agnes is trying to justify herself without understanding why they are making demands on her such requirements. Situation becomes tense, but she saves politeness. Juliana instructs Agnes what's in her age. You need to know the rules of etiquette. Pushes Agnes to awareness its role in society, although she is clearly upset. Diana, watching what is happening, sympathizes Agnes and worries that strict words can call her tears. She sees how girl tries save self-control. After reproaches, Juliana still decides. Hug your sister, making it clear that her strictness caused desire help. Softens tense atmosphere. Diana understands that between Juliana and Agnes are saved difficult relationship, but behind the scenes, coldness is hiding desire to establish a connection. Situation ends with the fact that Juliana, despite her stern tone, shows taking care of the younger one sister, hoping that her advice will help strengthen their related bonds. Agnes, full energy and joy, tells how always was such direct which did not cause problems. She smiles convincingly. Diana, what there is no reason to worry, creating feeling lightness. In the room where Juliana, standing by the window, Agnes, with laughter, assures all that unnecessary concern for her is unfounded. Diana watches her behavior, experiencing embarrassment and slight confusion. Diana, wary, thinks about how avoid chaos that maybe arrange Agnes. She internally reproaches himself for his inexperience and worries looking at the girl creating voltage around. Agnes decides leave, claiming that he doesn't want to disturb the guests. A cheerful and carefree manner of saying goodbye leaves track tension, forcing surrounding think about her true intentions. Diana notices how Agnes comes out from rooms her sight becomes suspicious. In her thoughts sounds anxiety. What's hidden motives move Agnes, and what is it like? Her true target in Royal Palace. Juliana looks at Diana with disappointment, clearly dissatisfied her indecision. Adds tension after all responsibility for the situation. Begins. Seem Diana unbearable. Juliana comes to the conclusion that Agnes occupies more high position than I was expecting it. Diana analyzes what is happening, realizing that girl much more cunning and clever than it seems at first sight. Juliana reproaches Diana for her passivity and requires to act. Her voice is full of reproach, and her posture radiates confidence. Diana begins doubt your own ability to cope with the task. Juliana notices that Agnes looks from above and calls Diana protect her interests. She clearly feels vulnerability to the girl hiding. This is due to the firm tone and determination. She says that need to use her position to achieve goals, but not to show weakness before Agnes Juliana reminds that her reputation directly associated with success. Diana, strengthening her responsibility. Diana, standing by the window, watches the morning rays illuminating royal chambers. Her thoughts, the princess's words, occupy Juliana. Feeling with which she collides for the first time. Reverent respect mixed with mild irritation. Princess Juliana looked tired, spending with his hand on her temples barely. An audible voice says goodbye to Diana, asking to be left alone. The girl politely agrees, feeling easy anxiety about the condition ladies. Leaving room. Diana is experiencing internal struggle. Previously, it seemed to her that arrogance princesses repels, but now she begins to understand what lies behind the external cold, something more. Walking through the hall, Diana recalls weakness. Juliana. She feels powerlessness and humility in the face of the fact that she is not able to help. Her devotion obliges support princess, but doubts undermine the soul. Juliana, left alone, sits in a chair on the terrace. A light breeze plays with her long, light hair. Head pain intensifies, interfering concentrate, but she persistently tries. Look majestically. Diana notices the abandoned book and takes it. Suddenly, she remembers Juliana's request, but immediately realizes that accidentally violated order. Her covers lung worry, but she decides to return the book. Juliana takes the book and with ease contempt notices that the author's style leaves want the best. She believes that the work does not deserve attention after all it seems too much to her simple and primitive. Princess, that's it. More holding a book goes into his thoughts. She criticizes flaw realism in the plot, noting that the author clearly does not understand the real world. Her mood remains depressed. Diana, watching from afar, trying to figure out how best to proceed. Feeling debt to Juliana and memories of the past where she was knight give her the strength to continue serving despite everything. On the terrace, wind intensifies inflating pages of the book. Juliana frowns, feeling empty and disappointed. Her sight directed into the distance, like as if she is looking for the answer to a question that is not resolved in her heart. Against the backdrop of a luxurious hall, a maid prepares tea for the Princess Juliana, reflecting on the strange patterns. Every time comes Lady Agnes at the princesses are beginning strong head pain. Girl looks like worried. The maid enters the light room with a tray where Juliana. She is sitting with a book, joyfully announces that she has made tea, clearly trying to brighten the atmosphere. The princess, immersed in her thoughts, barely reacts to her words. The maid explains that tea helps with headaches, pain, and is interested liked whether the aroma. Juliana carefully leans towards the cup, inhaling the scent. However, her expression faces remains thoughtful, as if she has a premonition of something. The maid notices that Juliana looks like painful and suitable, closer to find out. Everything, are you okay? The princess, alarmed, raises her head. In her look, readable tired, but she tries not to show weakness. Juliana thanks for the concern, clarifying that all under control. However, the maid is unsure of her words and offers tea again, wanting to make sure that will be able to help her with something. Sincerity causes easy, the princess smile. The maid leaves, leaving the tea. Juliana left alone again, immersed in reading, but her hands momentarily tremble. She looks at the tray where tea and snacks seem to be, now more trap than with help. Juliana carefully takes one of sweets, taste her. It makes me happy, but the anxiety doesn't go away. At this time, Servant Edge Eyes notices her confusion, thinking everything. Whether did the right thing? Princess gets distracted from reading in order to eat another sweetness. In this time, maid going out from rooms feels remorse. Conscience reflecting everything. Whether was, it's safe. Her concern noticeable in her gait. Against the backdrop of landscapes, royal garden, Juliana preparing for the trip. Her carriage pulls up to the entrance, accompanied by a groom. The atmosphere is solemn, but in the air is hovering, feeling secret threats. Juliana and her accompanying, they come out from carriages at the residence. Despite everything, Splendor Princess remains wary, throwing attentive glances around as if trying to solve invisible danger. Diana, already used to it, visit palace, confidently walked along the royal alleys. Her accompanied Bancroft, who remained at a distance, kept respectful silence. In the heart, Diana was felt easy anxiety before the next meeting with the princess. Golden rays of the sun illuminated luxurious throne room where Diana, as usual, awaited instructions time her. The relationship with Juliana became warmer. Behind closed doors, they spent time reading books, albeit in different roles. Princess All more often attracted Diana for her errands. Despite her whims, Diana noticed that Juliana's cold mask began to crack, revealing loneliness hidden behind the royal pride. The maid, with anxiety, reported Diana about that. Juliana locked herself in her chambers, not letting anyone in. The situation seemed strange and filled the atmosphere with gloomy premonitions that haunted me to the girl. Aware of the fact that Princess avoids everyone, Diana decides find out the reason perseverance and duty do not allow her to leave. I'm sure that will be able to reach Juliana as a person, and not just as an heiress throne. It became known in the palace that the king had decided to bring a new person to the castle, Agnes. The news alarmed everyone, including a princess who apparently began to withdraw into herself. Diana felt tension in the air. Approaching the doors of the chambers, Diana. She knocked, knowing that she might not answer. Persistence proceeded from understanding character princesses. That one rather in total she suffered in silence, avoiding show their feelings. The servants reminded Diana what even them Juliana denied access. They advised the girl leave, but she rejected this option. The belief that Princess needs support has only gotten worse. Diana, she said confidently, that will cope. Her calm inspired the servants, and she stepped into the dark corridor illuminated only weak light. Having overcome hesitation, she pushed door to the room Juliana's. Inside her, I was met by silence and darkness. Juliana, who had hidden their emotions, was in deep reflection. Diana, I understood how important it was to be there at that moment, even if Princess won't say anything. Juliana, Princess Kingdom, sits on the floor, sadly staring into the void. Her loneliness seems endless because she's only small, a girl forced to cope with the burdened palace life. Diana unexpectedly found herself in front of the door. Juliana notices strange lump cotton wool. Her heart, she shrinks with anxiety, understands that the princess is probably very hard. Approaching closer, Diana sees Juliana bending over the spoiled toys. Pain and anger filling room. It seems almost tangible. Diana hesitantly is trying to attract her attention. Juliana Sharp raises her head. The look is full of vulnerability and hidden fear. In hand shine scissors like, this her the only one protection from the world. In the center of the room, the toys' fragments are lying around. The princess is in despair, says that she asked to be left alone. Her tone trembles with emotion and tears. They are starting roll down the cheeks. Diana is trying to explain, but Juliana is furious, requires that she left. It seemed would even the castle walls echo, repeat her words. Heart. Diana is torn apart. Suddenly, the scene takes, comic shade. Juliana ridiculous stumbles, showing that her grace only illusion sensation. Easy awkwardness violates voltage. Juliana embarrassed, blushing. He declares that her order was ignored. Her pride slightly touched, but this helps a little diffuse the situation. Diana, with difficulty holding back smile, notices that the piece of cotton wool stuck in Princess Juliana's hair restrainedly replies that it happened that way. Although their views, they say more than words. Between them is established warm, almost nursing connection. Juliana allows Diana stay, and their talk becomes the beginning of a new understanding and friendship. Diana, with trembling heart, accepts invitation. Juliana play chess. She realizes that behind the external coldness, Princess's is hiding strong character. Internal monologue helps to understand her impressions. Watching Juliana with backs, Diana thinks about her inner world. She understands that her first meeting with the princess was superficial, but true. Juliana is strong, but vulnerable. The luxurious Hayman Castle presented majestic and architectural masterpiece, but inside its walls, tragedy. Cornelius falls, and his pain pierces the atmosphere. The servant runs to Cornelius to find out the reason for his fall. The boy weakness caused by internal tension, but he tries hold back their emotions. Cornelius provide first aid by diagnosing only lung stretching. Despite this, the surrounding, they are worried realizing how exhausted he is. Cornelius holds back panic of the servants, claiming that everything is fine. However, internal voltage, boy clearly is felt. Father or the mentor is trying to convince Cornelius rest, but that one persistently refuses. His determination evokes both admiration and anxiety. Squeezing teeth, Cornelius decisively rises, declaring that it's time for rest, still far away. His fatigue noticeable, but he continues move forward. Diana remembers your own past. Her loneliness and night tears show how much heavy was her previous life. Comparing herself with Juliana, she feels connection. These reflections lead Diana concluded that Juliana may be too experienced unbearable pain. Her determination brings together them, creating a basis for trust. Diana red-haired. The girl suffered from loneliness. Her efforts be recognized, environment always remained unnoticed. Hidden from strangers' views, she cried bitterly, feeling that remains alone even in the most difficult moments. To become real knight, Diana worked hard with all her strength. Her hands covered with wounds and scars reflected set trials that she had to go through. However, this only strengthened her determination go forward. He had no right to rest. Holding wooden sword, he swore that will not lose anymore. No seconds. Was his path to finding forces that will allow her to protect what it's dear to him. The boy with white hair, Cornelius with rage in his eyes, stated that will do everything to become a knight. For him, this was the first step to achieving goals that has now become the meaning of his existence. Cornelius did not give up even after defeats. He is stoic, performed punishment, doing push-ups on the floor, cursing his weakness each time, but not allowing himself to give up in front of Diana that watched him. Years later, Diana found herself in a majestic castle, full architectural beauty. Her life acquired a new turn, and fate was preparing her for important changes that soon will burst into her reality. Sitting by the mirror, Diana, I heard how she was called she. She became alarmed, looking into her reflection, anticipating that something unusual, coming excitement was growing in her heart. The servant reported Diana about the news. Her the face came to life, and with a slight anxiety, she asked what happened, trying to understand what expect from this unexpected turn. Arrival delegations from neighboring empires stirred up her. Excited, she ordered to prepare crew. Now it came her time show, who she's actually case and accept call destinies. Diana, surrounded flowers and sunshine light, firmly decided go to the palace. She was ready for a new one. Chapter his own life, knowing that ahead, waiting new trials and changes. Elegant castle rises in the rays. Morning sun, to his gates leisurely, is approaching. Ben, dressed in his dress uniform. His confident posture and decisive sight. They talk about something important goals. Behind majestic buildings, the quiet sound of hooves can be heard. Ben, with a slight effort, holding reins, deftly jumps off his horse. His uniform sparkles under the sun, emphasizing his status. In the distance, you can see Diana, whose refined silhouette seems the embodiment of nobility. Between them, as if is hovering anticipation. Diana, noticeably embarrassed, but her sight intently follows Ben. This moment is filled easy awkwardness, as if they understand each other without words. The bright sky above them reflects warm atmosphere. Ben, with pride, reports Diana what they arrived at the palace. His voice sounds confidently, but in the eyes, it reads warmly. There are flowers nearby, roses creating the impression that nature welcomes there. Diana, wearing exquisite dress with gratitude, accepts greetings, Ben. There is a feeling between them, something greater than simple formality. She smiles, but the look is full of thoughtfulness. Ben discusses important affairs with Diana. He mentions a certain wall from which you have to cope with it by showing your determination. Diana listens to him attentively, as if weighing every word. Despite the light uncertainty, Ben promises overcome all obstacles for the sake of Diana. His determination causes her smile, but she soft asks him to think about himself too. This moment is permeated sincerity. Diana expresses lung anxiety. Her face reflects sincere care. Ben, in turn, retains optimism, assuring her that all will good in this exchange. Feelings. It feels like deep connection. Ben offers fully trust him. His confidence as if penetrates the heart. Diana, and she finds strength within himself. Smile. Her gesture of gratitude simple but significant. Diana reflects on the upcoming. Her sight becomes serious. The light falling on it enhances her determination. She understands that are coming changes that will demand from her courage and wisdom. Unfolding on the horizon, war which impossible avoid. White-haired, a young man with a fever with a sparkle in the eyes expresses determination like as if foreshadowing tragic events. His tense smile speaks of a storm within. Diana sits surrounded flowers, immersed in her thoughts, holding a cup of tea. Her red hair shade calm with which she worries this moment, but her internal tension hidden behind the apparent serenity. Juliana calls out Diana, returning her. From the world of thoughts to reality, Diana, surprised, turns around, her eyes express lung embarrassment. Princess, radiating friendliness, clearly trying to start a conversation. Juliana, with crafty smile, begins to tease Diana. She suggests that she is thinking about someone special. On Diana's face flickers mixture surprise and light irritation while she is trying answer. Princess points to the table nearby. There sits young a man in an elegant suit. His gaze every now and then turned towards Diana. His interest is obvious, even from a distance. Diana, blushing, denies Juliana's words, trying prove that this misunderstanding. But the princess smiled. I am convinced that the man has been watching Diana for a long time and is clearly interested by her. Young human turns out sun-rich Viscount Julian, as if casually mentions how much he made efforts to get to the event, hoping produce impression. Diana, that's it, more embarrassed. She says she's not interested such details. She's clearly trying hide their true feelings, carefully sipping tea to avoid extra discussions. Young a man playing to the audience, except striking a striking pose as if waiting for someone to notice him. His behavior shows how hard he tries attract attention. Juliana concludes that her guesses were absolutely correct. Diana, trying save dignity, tries to change the subject, but her internal confusion noticeably. Rumors of arrival, important delegations from neighboring states stirred up yard. Everyone is discussing that visit related to the proposal marriage union that maybe strengthen connections between countries. Juliana, the only one Princess Kingdoms, thoughtfully reflects on his fate. Understanding that she will become key figure in this agreement, she restrainedly listens. Discussions, courtiers. Against the background of the map and symbolic ceremonies is depicted idea marriage union that is intended to become the basis for peace and cooperation between two powerful states. Diana, with fiery red hair and eyes full of discontent, cannot contain his own hostility towards the upcoming changes. Her past night evokes strong feelings in her contradictions. The news of Juliana's possible marriage fast scatters throughout the palace. Each expresses your own opinion, from cold acceptance to obvious indignation at such a political move. Juliana saves calm, enjoying tea-surrounded flowers. She understands that her participation inevitably and restrainedly takes its role in these events. Diana explodes emotions, blaming surrounding and senseless conversations. Her, the sharp tone emphasizes internal struggle and disgust towards political intrigues. Someone reminds me that the empire already has the crown prince betrothed to another, the idea second wives perceived. How an insult to the kingdom giving rise to hot disputes. The opinion that an alliance with the barbarians is unacceptable is growing stronger. Courtiers are convinced that agreement may weaken them, the state, and humiliate its dignity. In the end, split between supporters and opponents of the union becomes obvious. Each side sees your own future, and tension between courtiers is growing, foreshadowing development conflict. Diana, once a knight, is experiencing conflict in the Square Kingdoms. She requires stop the argument by reminding gathered about the laws of the empire. Her decisive sight emphasizes importance, order, and justice. Princess Juliana, aware of her responsibility, reflects on the solution's father. She is ready to accept them for the good of the country. Confidence and aspiration, protect kingdom, emphasize her devotion. Plans allies become clearer. They intend subscribe peaceful agreement that causes excitement. One of participants expresses apologies, realizing how much. This significant an event for everyone's sides. Juliana saves external calm, but internally she irritated behavior surrounding her strictness, reminds those present about etiquette, forcing their more carefully choose words. Cornelius, with white hair, returns to the kingdom experiencing mixed feelings. He remembers your own past and declares that again stepped onto this land, hinting at something important. His companion Walter notices extraordinary fertility of the land, comparing them with their relatives' territories. This causes interest in strategic opportunities. Locality. Residents' local market are discussing attractiveness. These lands for other kingdoms. They note that many strive to get a share. This wealth that creates voltage. Cornelius, feeling fatigue, suggests Walter take a break. Despite his restraint, his gaze speaks of hidden plans associated with this place. His thoughts become obvious. Diana will soon be his confidence in her voice and determination foreshadow important events that change destinies. Juliana thanks the guests for their visit, concluding evening. Her gracefulness emphasizes greatness. Princesses, guests are leaving palace, feeling her warmth, words, and respect. Juliana, walking through the palace, stopped noticing that Diana is missing. Her face expressed lung irritation, and she ordered to find out where there may be a redhead girl inside. Princesses was growing anxiety. The servant reported that Diana went to the palace with gifts. Hearing this, Juliana thought incredulously, repeating heard. I decided to figure it out myself happens, and went in search. Night, feeling alarm. Approaching Diana's chambers, the princess carefully opened door. A red-haired woman appeared in front of her. A girl standing by a table with boxes. Juliana, I noticed her in surprise, concentration, and thoughtfulness. Diana, noticing the presence. Princess raised her head but said nothing. Her, the look seemed to be directed somewhere into the distance, as if she tried to hide their thoughts from others, especially from Juliana. The princess couldn't stand it. Silence, and decided to come closer. Her tone became more demanding. But Diana, avoiding a direct answer, closed herself off. This caused Juliana more questions and suspicions. When Juliana came up closer and touched Diana's shoulder, she pulled away, and a tension arose between them. Tension, Juliana. I felt that in the behavior, girls. There is something unusual. Suddenly, Diana did sharp movement, and Juliana lost balance, falling to the floor. The princess did not expect such reactions and looked at the red-haired girl with surprise and bewilderment. Diana froze, realizing that happened, but didn't try help. Juliana, having risen, felt anger. Her face flared up with emotions. She demanded explanations, but I met only silence. Diana, saving external calm, looked at Juliana with quiet determination. For her equanimity, there was a storm of emotions hidden because she had to again encounter a shadow, his own past. Realizing that Diana evades the answer, Princess got angry more. Her sight became cold, and she made it clear that she did not intend to leave the incident without consequences. Diana, stammering and trembling, apologizes to Juliana, remembering how her former life knight obliged to honor. Her words and actions seem familiar to her impulse, but she feels difference, trying to justify myself to the princess. Juliana intently looks at Diana, demanding explanations for her strange behavior. Diana understands that her act was too much hasty and thoughtless, but tense sight Juliana only strengthens her confusion. Diana is silent, feeling how internal excitement fetters. Her Juliana reminds her of the responsibility and consequences for her misdeeds. However, Diana is trying to justify oneself without wanting to call anger princesses. Juliana's inner monologue reveals her doubts. She ponders how trust Diana and what hides behind her unusual behavior. Her insightful sight indicates hidden alarm. The carriage is full gloomy symbolism lies inverted, hinting at the upcoming tragedy. Blood and destruction predict danger and dark tones strengthen feeling hopelessness. In the foreground is Juliana with the wounded hand blood on it. Clothes becomes an omen troubles. Sudden attack threatens her life, creating gloomy mood narratives. After death, Princess's kingdom is on the verge of destruction. Weapons symbolizes war that destroys connections between states and deepening enmity. Diana, in a comical mini-scene, recalls your own wish, run away to the next one. The country before the tragedy. Funny illustration contrasts with tension narratives showing her internal hopes. Diana can't anymore stay indifferent. Having met Julian with a look, she decides protect her any at a price, despite the risk. This meeting strengthens her determination, turning her fear into readiness to act. Diana, realizing heaviness, his role reflects on the fact that stop war for one man. It's impossible, and she doesn't want to take on this one a doomed task. In her look, it feels like determination. Avoid fate, full suffering. The girl, noticing the approaching Julian, is trying avoid conversation. She promises that soon share by everyone answers, but now it's difficult for her to speak. With her face's readable tension, but the voice sounds confidently. When Juliana, dissatisfied, attempts to evade accuses, Diana, avoiding a direct answer. Red-haired young woman embarrassedly takes away look. Her indecision encounters hardness princess, who accustomed to absolute obedience. Diana, having found excuse, reports problems at home which require her immediate interventions. She is trying, save calm, but tension gives out. Her Juliana looks at her with suspicion. Slowly give in. Red-haired Juliana, she feels tension and understands that Juliana is strong, an opponent who is not ready. Give up. Despite the laughter, Diana realizes that her verbal maneuvers maybe be not enough. After complex dialogue and demonstration oratorical mastery, Diana still gets it. Opportunity leave. She's sitting in the carriage was relieved exhales, realizing that I was able to avoid a direct confrontation with Juliana. The princess reluctantly lets go her, but warns that this total only exception Diana is trying smooth out situation, expressing sincere gratitude, although in his soul he understands that war only delayed. Sitting in the carriage, she looks out the window, thinking about what happened. Thoughts about the absence, there is no point in them conversation, torment her, and she trying to find answers to the question that do further to avoid disasters. Diana, full determination, reflects on his escape, realizing that if she succeeds, run away, they will start hunting her. She is experiencing alarm. However, her thoughts aimed at preventing war that inevitably will flare up between kingdoms. Leaving from carriages, she catches a moment to inhale fresh air, and her sight expresses alertness. She understands that conflicts cannot be avoided after all. Between countries' tension, she decides act resolutely despite his doubts. Diana meets Ben the knight, and their talk attracts attention. Ben wondering what about she thinks, and Diana for a moment loses the thread of thought. Her anxiety becomes obvious, but she trying to cope with emotions. Ben notices her confusion and admits that feels myself not enough strong to help her. He sincerely doubts his usefulness. However, tries support Diana. Your own presence and words that sound sincerely. Diana touched care. Ben thanks him with warmth. She understands that she is not alone and his support gives her strength continue. At that moment, she becomes calmer, though the anxiety still doesn't let up. Diana and Ben continue dialogue over a cup tea in the garden. Diana is trying relax, despite your disturbing thoughts. It is recognized that is trying. Overcome their internal walls and find strength. Move on. Princess Juliana, remaining in the shadows, watches what is happening with a smirk. Her plans become obvious. She is preparing for intrigue intending interfere in life, Diana, and destroy her plans for the future. Diana explains that wants that Ben was able to overcome their doubts and become stronger. She sincerely believes in his potential and wants him to overcome the difficulties that stand in front of both of them. Diana, I thought about the outstanding qualities Ben, who being a knight not only was distinguished bravery, but also long deserved increase if it weren't for his devotion to her. This thought caused her mixed feelings, pride for him, and a little guilt. In the fresh air at Ben's elegant table restrainedly admitted that he was not used to it. Enjoy such moments of relaxation. His serious look and stern appearance created a contrast with the peaceful atmosphere garden, filling the moment with a slight tension. Diana, she admitted that she too. It was uneasy in the past. She made mistakes, but only stubborn, the work allowed her to reach the level at which she now. Her frankness added to the conversation, confidential tone. Ben was stunned to learn that once confident and graceful Diana, same experienced difficulties. She told how the first steps were difficult, including even basic skills that now seemed insignificant. Diana remembered how the teacher instilling in her confidence taught its foundations. She daily trained, transforming their failures in experience. Scenes from past filled out her thoughts of warmth and gratitude. Having heard this, Ben said with surprise and admiration, asked again, "Really, I was training every day," answered Diana about that. She overcame. The pain shook him to the depths of his soul. He couldn't imagine what it would take tests past Diana. For him, she always was embodiment ideal, and this unexpected story made him look at her with a new respect and understanding. Diana mysteriously noted that will come time and Ben will overcome their doubts. She decided to hint him on something important, leaving space for his own conclusions. Diana, thoughtful, a girl with bright red hair, recalls lessons his own etiquette mentors. She was told that true lady should be like a flower, delighting his own sophistication and grace. However, Diana with doubt perceives this one, the thought that is reflected on her face. On the terrace where surround blooming bushes, Ben, her devoted knight, listens her thoughts. Diana explains that beautiful, the idea of a lady as something valuable and delightful, is like an ornament created solely for the pleasure of others. Her memories return her to the moments when she was decoration at secular receptions. Lady-like jewels adorn the world around us, but this brings only superficial value. She believes that this deprives women individuality, reducing them to the role of objects. Admiration. Collecting my thoughts. Diana shares with Ben his own point sight. She doesn't want to be the one who has defined strangers' expectations. The goal is to choose your own path and become who you are. She wants to be regardless of conventions. Past life, Diana was unbearable, difficult. Being a knight, she obeyed orders, sacrificing own desires. Her hands are stained with blood battles, and her heart, a burden responsibility that she didn't choose. She realizes that the past deprived her freedom and itself yourself. Her face, dirty blood, expresses longing, and in her eyes is on fire. The pain of knowing that she was only an instrument in the wrong hands. In her last, there was no life room for individuality. Diana was only part big games, a pawn in other people's decisions. She realizes that it deprived her real strength and dignity. Now, sitting in the garden among flowers, she does conclusion that wants live otherwise. Her solutions should proceed from her own desires and not impose from the outside. She dreams be hostess his own destinies. Diana speaks Ben that she doesn't want him to go through the same thing she did. Her words are full of sincerity and care. She wants him to find mine, his own path, and lived for himself. Her last one thought is instruction. Ben, she wants him to understand. Awareness own values will make him independent of the opinions of others. She believes that this will he gave her the strength and freedom that she had so lacked before. Ben thoughtfully speaks about his paths and thanks Diana for her influence on him. Her words and actions inspire him by helping sort out doubts and find a way mine vital landmark. In his eyes, you can see sincerity and respect, but also a slight uncertainty. Diana sits on the contrary, enjoying the moment of calm. Her confidence contrasts with the internal confusion. Ben, Regina passing by turns pay attention to this and begin think about how her own life could be other. Regina coldly reports Diana what father requires her presence. Her voice sounds restrained, but in it a note of contempt can be heard. Diana breaks away from his thoughts, feeling tension and reluctantly rises following his sister. The silence in the hallway thickens. Regina sideways looks at Diana, her sight full discontent. At the same time, Diana looks like calm, but her internal concentration gives out readiness for unexpected turns. Regina suddenly notices how Diana instinctively picks up an object that reminds her of the past. Regina tensely watches her actions, trying to understand that hidden behind this gesture, but her suspicions only are getting stronger. Between the sisters arises tense dialogue. Regina asks questions hinting at a connection. Diana with Ben. The words sound. How hidden accusation. But Diana answers evasively, trying save composure. This is more touches Regina. The situation gets tense when Regina begins demand truth. Her gestures become sharper and the voice is firmer. Diana, on the contrary, remains externally calm, but in her eyes flickers shadow stubbornness. Their views intersect in opposition. Diana decisively claims that between her and Ben, only formal relationship, but her words sound. It is unconvincing that gives Regina more reasons for doubt. In the room is hovering tension as if before a storm. Regina intently looks at his sister, clearly not believing in her words. Her eyes, full suspicions and aspirations, get to the bottom of the truth. She is as if ready to quit challenge, deciding what, find out at any cost. True feelings. Diana. Diana looks at Regina, keeping silence. There the conflict is not over and tension remains in the air. It seems that this meeting only warmed up disagreements, leaving both in a state internal struggle and hidden emotions. Diana irritated because of the unexpected interventions Regina in her affairs. She emphasizes that he does not intend to get involved in intrigues that Regina started. Despite the cold atmosphere, there was a smile in her eyes. Diana readable resentment and pain caused happening. Turning around in the elegant hall, Diana, offended in recent words, throws Regina's farewell phrase, emphasizing that similar questions touch her pride. The proud posture contrasts with the shadow confusion on the face. Regina, surprised, heard her thin features faces and shock express interior conflict. However, she doesn't hold back and pounces on Diana, accusing her in that she appropriated someone else's role and respect, which as considers Regina, it must be belonged to her. Flared up rage, Regina breaks out. She accuses Diana, emphasizing that she always finds herself in the spotlight. Her words hurt, but Diana saves cold expression despite the anxiety that flashed in his eyes. Regina's words are becoming more and more emotional. She breaks down, emphasizing that unhappy with how Diana X Knight suddenly became close to the palace and the princess. Her anger as if covers room-enhancing voltage. After splash emotions, silence falls. Diana restrainedly answers, hinting that place Regina in this life is determined not by her, but by fate. Internal conflict between sisters becomes noticeably tense. Diana calmly but firmly responds to anger. Regina recalling that some things it is forbidden to appropriate by right of desire. This causes Regina spicy feeling injustice that noticeable by her expression faces. Regina admits that he can't get what he wants, dreams but insists on his own internal, convinced that Diana doesn't deserve it either. These privileges, this thought sounds, how desperate an attempt to regain confidence. Regina's words affect Diana. She begins think about it really, whether she is worthy of what his face. Diana reflects mixed feelings, from bewilderment to the realization that their disagreements take root deeper than seems. Regina. It is recognized that since Diana rejected her destiny as a knight, everything became different should to be. She feels that the world has changed and shares this feeling with Diana without hiding his own anxiety. In the picture girl with red hair and green through the eyes of Diana, she reflects accuses whether her in all troubles. She clenches her fist, overflowing feelings, and is asked the question of how to deal with this pressure. Diana collides with Regina. His summary sister, Regina, coldly reminds that she needs leave, and Diana, depressed, agrees her movements. Issue internal struggle and depression. Diana, left alone, reflects that perhaps in Regina's words, there is some truth to it. It understands that her past actions could influence current situation, but is tormented question why this happened exactly with her. She realizes that she has returned to the past, but does not understand why she needed it. Dan this chance. In her head raging contradictory thoughts, and she is being asked, question what to do next, and who can do it. Trust your story. Father Diana demands from her listen something important. His words sound sternly, and Diana understands that this will connect it with her future. Internally, she preparing for the next difficulties. The man tells her what is ahead. Go out, get married. Diana shocked this. The news and doesn't believe it. Your own ears? She is being asked. The question is, who is she? May be needed and feels myself helpless. Father explains that I liked it to my son Viscount Billy. What forces Diana recall sad moments his own last life, her filled with fear and distrust of this to a person. Diana panics, not believing that such a fate is destined for her. Her face distorts mixture, surprise and horror and memories from past. They force heart fight more often. Suddenly she loses consciousness. Those around are in a panic and the butler picks up her to help. His concern causes her confusion and suspicion. Diana, that's it more. Feeling myself awkwardly notices that her supports butler. His restrained anxiety seems sincere, but she remains wary. Despite the fact that she is conscious, but it is difficult for her to collect herself. thoughts and understand that what to do next in this unexpected situations. Diana, waking up in the room, barely realizes what's happening. Her heart more pounding in the chest from strong excitement. The maid explains that she lost consciousness from stress and carefully offers, "I'm going to restore forces." Diana feels excitement and confusion. Thoughts on recent events rush into her head. The news of the engagement turned out to be for her unexpected blow. However more total, she was shocked by who exactly became her fiancé. Emotions overflowing her, but she tries to control himself. The maid offers her soup carefully, explaining that it will help her come to her senses. Diana takes the spoon, feeling the warmth of the food brings not only physical relief, but also a little calms her alarmed thoughts. Diana reflects on his vulnerabilities. She considers myself weak because of how much she was shaken by the recent events. However, in her heart arises warm feeling. The role of the lady that she tries on begins to bring her inner harmony. Looking in the mirror, Diana smiles your own thoughts. She feels like behind the mask weaknesses is born something new, understanding yourself and yours femininity. This moment seems to her a turning point, as if she becomes another. The sound Cornelius, confidently leading myself. How representative important delegations. His calm smile and gratitude to those around look sincere. Diplomat. Remember, the guy, Knight Cornelius remembers the moment when for the first time took the sword in his hands. Then to him it seemed that, this only fleeting hobby, that fast it will pass. However, fate decreed otherwise, and this solution changed not only his life, but also the life of surrounding. Cornelius, having become worthy knight, now carries in the heart pride in one's own achievements. His appearance exudes nobility, and his manners emphasize his high status. He leaves the hall heading to his goals, leaving behind track confidence and strength. Walking doubts the interlocutor listening to him becomes obvious. That one is perplexed as to how can was believe what was said about the lady about whom Cornelius mentioned earlier. Her image imprinted in his memories continues to excite his heart. Answer. Cornelius turns out unexpected. He says he doesn't know what it is, her fate, and did not seek her. Causes a storm of emotions in his companion because he does not understand how can was ignore such a significant person. Thoughts Cornelius become clearer. He understands that any attention he pays to her only attracted would extra views. It seems to him that it's better to leave everything as is. There is so as not to cause her new ones suffering. The sad reflection. Walter attentively looked at Cornelius, wondering how that one opens up with a new one every time sides. He noticed that his master, something was troubling me, but I was in no hurry. Ask extra questions. Cornelius seemed immersed in his own thoughts, as if I was looking for answer to an important question. Cornelius thoughtfully raised look, feeling strange and powerful. The energy that was floating around Walter became interested in his concerns, trying to understand what is happening. Agrafana, with her architecture and atmosphere, looked majestic, but concealed a mystery, reflecting on the divine strength. Cornelius, I thought maybe whether this energy be the one that lives in people. Walter realized that his master remembers own the past and the power that accompanied him from birth. The feeling stirred memories of the old times. Walter decided distract Cornelius from reflection, having translated conversation about the knight about whom they recently learned Cornelius. Remembering this one woman thought about her power. Her strength seemed to awaken in him something forgotten but incredible important. The seriousness on Cornelius's face changed easy smile. He noted that never met nobody stronger her. Each swing her sword each her. The step attracted looks like she was the center of this world. Her strength was combined with grace, inspiring respect. In memory, Walter watched the change expression faces Cornelius, noticing in him easy shadow regrets. That one I was wondering if it was possible whether would avoid past in which he once killed this one amazing knight, but her strength and beauty are in this new incarnation remained unchanged. Diana with emerald, with bright scarlet hair and eyes appears before Cornelius. His reaction gives out mixture surprise and alarm. He obviously didn't expect it, meeting with this a girl in such an unusual appearance. Memories from past life involuntarily come to life, mixing feelings in his soul. Cornelius tormented questions. Why? She here? Shouldn't whether Diana train in the arena? This moment makes him think about how intersect their paths again, and what hidden behind this unexpected presence. Diana, radiating grace, welcomes guests. She confidently addresses Cornelius, emphasizing his belonging to the family Resley, but her sight remains wary. Her words seem simultaneously simple and meaningful. Cornelius is going to ask her a question, but the tension in his voice gives away interior conflict. He clearly wants save calm, but excited too obvious for everyone. Her calm against becomes its contrast. Diana looks at Cornelius directly. her sight-deprived hostility but full of hidden forces. His attempts build dialogue seem clumsy that causes mixed reactions surrounding, and Walter is clearly beginning to be nervous. When Cornelius is trying, pronounce question emotions overwhelm him, he loses control. Walter tries to bring him to his senses, but the moment is already ruined. Diana attentively monitors what is happening, remaining unperturbed. Diana sees how Cornelius suffers your own thoughts, and this awakens complex feelings in her emotions. She remembers your own past, where was Night, and is asked question, maybe whether this new life give they have a chance to fix what was destroyed. She looks at him with a slight smile, but her heart filled contradictions. In her eyes reflected past, present, and indefinite a future that only she can remains to be seen. Diana stops noticing the white-haired man. Young man, her heart, it's shrinking after all. This Cornelius, the man who caused her death in the past life. She is shocked by his changes and barely recognizes who he was earlier. Diana speculates that perhaps Cornelius is in this age really could to be so kind and carefree. However, her heart begins treacherously fight more often, causing panic and bewilderment. She tries to cope with herself, but her emotions, they come out of control. Mixed feeling indignation and confusion forces. It's her own fault, heart, for that it gives in to this influence. Cornelius is approaching, and Diana realizes that she found herself in the center of a conversation with someone she once feared and hated. Her intelligence fog up questions about meaning what is happening and her role in it. Walter, standing nearby, clearly notices voltage between them but retains neutrality. Cornelius, a little embarrassed, nevertheless, takes a step forward as if deciding on an important step. Cornelius brings apologizing for his lack of confidence, explaining that was. Confused, Diana sees his sincerity, but her interior conflict intensifies, not allowing her to believe in such changes. She trying to find answers, but her intelligence captured past. She finds it hard to believe that now there is another one in front of her, Cornelius. However, his behavior persistently demonstrates new appearance, forcing her think about it. Diana, dressed in magnificent dress, froze in confusion, seeing Cornelius. His presence, it causes a storm of emotions in her, because she remembers how he cut off her life in the past. Now he looks at her with coldness, detachment. Cornelius, trying save calm, watching Diana. However, her sight makes him feel lost. Walter, realizing that something is wrong, pay attention, monitors the situation, trying assess the situation. Diana feels strange tension. She is being asked the question of what could have led Cornelius here. Memories of his cruelty in the past, they start to put pressure on her, forcing her hide their true feelings. Servants are distracting attention, announcing arrival, Cornelius, but his gaze does not move away from Diana. He feels that she's not like that simple what it seems. At the same time, Diana saves equanimity, thinking through their actions. Walter fits closer, noticing embarrassment, Cornelius. He reminds that need to be careful after all. Many around are watching. However, Cornelius, immersed in his own thoughts, incapable, ignores strange connection with Diana. Cornelius notices that Diana is not a knight as he thought. This opening makes him think he remembers how underestimated her in the past life, and understands that this time he does not want to repeat the mistakes. Interior conflict covers Cornelius. He can't understand how to him treat Diana. His heart is torn apart between feeling guilt for the past and the new unfamiliar admiration, her fragile but strong and kind. Walter speaks about the correctness decisions, emphasizing that it's important not to attract attention. Now attention, Cornelius recalls the danger that maybe threaten Diana if enemies find out about her meaning for him. Clenching his fist, Cornelius accepts decision. He realizes that he cannot allow her death again. This thought strengthens his resolve, protect her any at a price even, if this will lead to confrontation with the world. Cornelius finally decides that Diana should be only with him. Her smile, her sight become for him the only one light in life. He swears do everything to she belonged only to him. Diana, dressed in formal attire, asks Walter a question about her in the future being full hopes and dreams. She wonders who she became. Perhaps a great knight? But hidden doubts remain in her heart. Cornelius looks at Diana with bitterness. His memories are limited past where he watched her with cold detachment. Diana, in turn, asks about the future of Cornelius himself, seeing a mystery in it. Diana thinks about his fate. Internal monologues penetrate her soul when she understands that visions of the future stopped. The last time I saw images when happened something tragic. In a dark, dramatic stage opens. Dark secret. Cornelius killed Diana in the past. He clings to her dead body, immersed in madness that tears his soul apart. This scene is intense emotions, pain, and loss. Juliana, outraged injustice, what's happening? She finds out that her prepare for marriage and can't believe how such the situation became possible. Her anger and confusion flare up with a bright fire. Princess doubts his fate, feeling myself victim. Palace intrigues. She is being asked question really whether life everyone princess is such is deprived freedom, complete despair, and will. Tears their pouring face Juliana. It seems to her that the whole world has turned against her, and the decisions made for her back only aggravate her suffering. Everything happens as if in a terrible dream. At this point, the truth is revealed. Julian issue marry not a prince as everyone thought, but the emperor himself. This news causes bewilderment and excitement, disrupting all plans and expectations. Juliana complains about the absent support. Her letters to the courtiers remain unanswered, intensifying feeling isolation. In her eyes appears, it's a shame because people who she trusted turned away from her. The situation is changing. People's support is shifting to another side, and Julian loses influence. Aggravates her position, doing her captive circumstances and subordinating them to the wills of others. Diana, a girl with bright red hair, bends over Juliana, the only princess kingdoms Julian reproaches in her absence connections. But her words are filled with affection and sadness, as if are hiding personal experiences. Diana, worried, internal thoughts, gets lost in his sensations. She ponders why situation. It seems like a nightmare. Like from past, and in her eyes appears shadow determination. Diana decides ease the situation by offering to drink. She sharp puts bottle on the table, showing his confidence. For her, evening seems the only one opportunity take a break from the turmoil thoughts. Juliana looks at the glass with caution, but still accepts it offer. She accidentally spills a little water, but then immediately demonstrates audacity, grabbing the bottle and drinking boldly, causing shock in Diana. Princess laughs. Her face shines audacity. She requires more forcing. Diana smile. Their interaction is filling up unexpected warmth and friendship rivalry. Diana looks at the glass, thinking how all changed because of her presence. She is trying. Forget yourself, pouring yourself another one, but in her thoughts clearly float up shadows past. Past and present intertwined in memories. Diana. She blames myself in that your own intervention changed Juliana's fate. Disturbing thoughts again are gaining the upper hand. Juliana, in a fit of emotions, remembers how Empire changed their life. Her speech becomes confused but full sincerity, while she, it is admitted that hates Diana, though this quicker attempt hide their feelings. Diana sighs, laughing at the state Juliana's. Her thoughts again take you into the past, where she recalls how choice changed her life, leading a stray warrior. In silence, Diana again wonders why all it worked out. That's exactly it. Her sight slides along the bottle in her hands. She blames myself, but still remains true to his own choice. Diana immerses himself in his thoughts, experiencing feeling guilt for destinies those who suffered because of her in the past life. Her torment doubts. Will be able to whether she stay away or again will have to take up arms. Juliana, with a cold one, calmly says that she knew about her hostility. These words hurt Diana, forcing her. Remember how I could involuntarily call similar relation that it has now become obvious. Princess asks provocative question concerning reasons her hostility. Diana is confused, admits that she does this unknown. Between them reigns tense silence, awakening hidden grievances. Juliana admits that Diana reminds her of Agnes, whose features seem painful familiar. These memories burn her, calling anger and sadness that she can't hide behind your own external cold-bloodedness. Hot-tempered. Reacting to the comparison, Juliana sarcastically points out that better be more like a hippopotamus than Agnes. Her anger turns into a storm of emotions which Diana meets restrained calmness. Diana reflects on the marriage of the king and queen, which was based not on love but on agreement. Her heart is filling up bitterness, after all, even respect. It seemed between them not enough. Juliana recalls that always, I thought that the king and queen, there is, although with mutual respect, but her idealistic performances are destroyed, leaving bitter feeling disappointments. In her memories suddenly appear the Marquise and her daughter Agnes. Their presence causes an avalanche of emotions connecting past with the present and forcing her think about the role that they played her life. Agnes was accurate copy, his own mother's, which amazed and filled pain Julian. She realized how bright and full emotions was this image, reminding us that all may be lost. Juliana understands that despite all the contradictions, the king knew how to show sincere love, let even only to children. This is opening amazes and awakens bitterness in the soul, mixture, surprise, and regret. The girl looking at the golden hall thought about her futile efforts. She realized that all of her attempts achieve, although Wood's smiles from the other person remained unsuccessful, and this filled her sadness. She felt disappointment, but that's all still held herself proudly. Juliana, sitting by the window, thought about the past. She blamed herself for not being kind enough and patient enough, believing that she could be better. These reflections opened her uncertainty and pain that continued to torment her from the inside. Later, Diana tried stop Juliana, who drank from Big Vessel. Seeing how the princess doesn't hold back herself, she worriedly tried to reason with her. Juliana seemed to ignore what is happening, giving free rein to their emotions. Diana did not give in, insisting on her own, but Juliana barely listened to her irritation. It was growing, but I started gradually take Diana's words seriously. Though it's hard. Their interaction reminded confrontation, two strong personalities. Juliana bitterly admitted that envied beauty. Diana counting her reason his own loneliness. She accused Diana is that the appearance was attractive, universal attention leaving Julian in the shadows. Diana was silent listening Juliana, who I remembered how guests were going to around her thirsting, although would look at her. This scene was revealing the princess's envy and sadness which had accumulated over the years her life. Diana, I remembered your own past when was night. She worked hard to earn respect and recognition. These memories reminded her how hard was fight for your own place in this world. Juliana suddenly admitted that hated Diana but respected her. How a person who played chess with her without trying humiliate or prick her. These words-filled contradiction pointed to the internal struggle princesses. The princess admitted that I was irritated by the behavior Diana. Her advice and gifts love novels that were strange and incomprehensible. However, next to Diana, she felt myself comfortable, even though I didn't want it recognized. Remembering their joint time, Juliana, I realized that Diana warmed her his own care and attention. This sincere the smile became a symbol of acceptance and forgiveness, connecting there more stronger than before. Juliana sincerely thanks Diana for her kindness and attention. In her eyes reflected deep gratitude, and there is warmth in the voice. Diana restrainedly accepts. Gratitude, her sight becomes softer, but in it slips through easy shadow sadness. Princess decides it's time to end the evening. She tenderly mentions their general moments, chess parties and discussions, unusual books. Majestic library, flooded warm light becomes a symbol of their farewells. Juliana finds bottle but discovers that it's empty. It causes her disappointment and light irritation. Her movements become impetuous, and the tension in her gestures betrays hidden fatigue and internal conflict. Diana Barrett's situation under control. Her voice remains calm, but she persistently convinces Julian stop drinking and rest. In her caring gestures are felt sincere, wish help, but also internal anxiety. Princess, in spite of healthy meaning, shows stubbornness. Her protests full emotions, and she no longer hides them. Her experiences, her despair splashes out outward, forcing Diana more stronger. Take care of her. Juliana suddenly hugs Diana like clinging to her as for salvation. In her hugs, the fear of loneliness shines through and the words sound like a plea for help. Diana accepts her impulse, trying calm down Princess. Princess asks Diana run away together with her. Go away from the palace walls and oppressive reality. Her voice trembles with excitement and her gaze filled hope that mixed with despair. Diana, although confused, hugs Julian in response. A tension arises between them, a sincere moment of intimacy and trust. Princess finds solace in her, and Diana feels responsibility for it. Calmness. Girl with long, pink-haired Diana thoughtfully sits next to the lifeless Princess Juliana. She's worried that she missed her second chance for a peaceful life, remembering your own past. How night's room impregnated silence and bitterness. On the floor in the rays, Solar Sveta lies empty bottle. Julian slowly comes to his senses after sleep. Embarrassed looks back, realizing that passed out, and doesn't remember what happened the day before. Waking up, Juliana remembers yesterday, my words about how her Diana's beauty irritated her. She's stunned by how Sharp passed out and is vaguely trying to collect their thoughts. Memories roll over Juliana, where she, with tears, complained Diana on necessity go to the Empire. Diana restrainedly consoled her, showing care despite their disagreements. Juliana burns with shame, realizing what Diana said, something stupid in a fit of anger emotions. She reproaches myself for inappropriate words and misunderstanding that Diana her supported. Diana attentively watches Juliana, who is clearly sleep-deprived. She, covering face with his hands, can't find the strength to meet her gaze, thinking about his clumsiness. Diana's soft, interested well-being Juliana. She, struggling with fatigue, only nods. Their silent dialogue filled internal tension and regret. Juliana painfully blushes, thinking that she is ashamed. Look into the eyes, Diana. Excitement takes hold her, but she can't pick up the right words to express their feelings. With effort having gathered herself, Juliana pretends that cheerful and energetic stretches, as if would chasing away the remnants of sleep. Diana looks at her with a slight irony, understanding her pretense. Juliana. He grabs his head, complaining of pain, but Diana immediately offers to bring warm water with honey care, shows that she is ready to support Princess despite for nothing. Diana flew into the room, her green eyes burned determination. Juliana, Princess Kingdoms, everything more sat on the floor, her state gave out the remains of a stormy nights. Diana asked defiantly, isn't she going to whether she escaped but the princess? She assured me that everything was fine with her. Juliana, trying recall events past evenings, I began to doubt them importance. She realized that she had missed something important, and it was reflected on her face. Determination figure it out, though. Uncertainty was hidden in her voice. Suddenly, Juliana started talking about how she was scared, but she was ready to go with Diana. Her words were sincere, but Diana couldn't hide surprise upon hearing so direct offer. Diana, accepting decision, announced its intention go to the Empire Heberunia. It became hers response to confession. Juliana, which she did the day before, leaving Princess in a lung confusion. With soft smile, Diana added that people tend to adapt to new conditions, and her words inspired Juliana, giving her a little confidence in the future paths. Morning light illuminated palace. Diana gave the order maid prepare water with honey and medicine for relief states, Juliana showing care that came as a surprise to herself princesses. A maid with a smile agreed and hurried fulfill the request. Her goodwill inspired calm, and despite the tension, latest events, everything began to seem a little more ordered. Diana went out onto the balcony. Her sight rushed into the distance. I was thinking about the upcoming paths, promising himself to complete his things in this country and leave it forever, though. Saying goodbye was not easy. Her thoughts were full determination, but memories of the past made her think about it. Perhaps it is. The journey is not only will begin new stage, but will also close old doors, leaving behind shadows of the past. Among rain in the distance, Diana noticed a figure with white hair. Her sight froze. My heart ached. The past seemed to be again reminded of itself as if ghost from distant memories. Diana with excitement watching Cornelius under pouring rain, trying to understand his motives. She remembers how in the past he was in life her killer that causes interior conflict and fear. Cornelius seems thoughtful. Cornelius fits closer as if evaluating her. He says he's glad to see her again, meet Diana. His warm yet mysterious tone knocks me out girl from balance, reminding her of their difficult past. Diana confused answers, trying hide emotions. She reflects on the climate, noting that rains frequent in Agrafana and Heberunia suffers from drought, which seems symbolic for them relations. Cornelius, with a hint of regret, talks about the difficulties outside capital. He mentions that during drought, fruits become sweeter, as if hinting at the possibility changes in their destinies. With a slight smile, Cornelius invites Diana, try fruits, offering a symbolic gesture of reconciliation. Diana, stunned, doesn't know what answer, feeling hidden intentions behind his words. He bows before Diana, trying show respect. Girl feels myself vulnerable, remembering moments from last life. She tries save self-control, but her heart beats faster. Diana takes away look blushing. She decides to leave to come to her senses, but thoughts of Cornelius do not give her peace. An inner voice reproaches her for her softness and weakness in front of him. In this time, Walter finds Cornelius and reports that I was looking for him for a long time. He looks like this worried, but Cornelius answers indifferently, clearly thinking about his own conversation with Diana. Walter is trying, find out that happened, but Cornelius only notices that the fruit plan didn't work. His voice sounds disappointed, as if he had expected a different result. Cornelius, immersed in his thoughts, admits that attempt. It didn't work out to get closer to Diana. He feels that past. All more weighs on me, they're both, but perhaps it is just the beginning of his journey to her trust. Diana, with her bright green with eyes thoughtfully, is walking among majestic buildings, reflecting on their affairs. In the past, she was night, and this part her. The entity is still alive. The goal is to solve something important before leaving. Two maids were surprised, whispering, discussing Diana. One of them recalls how gracefully she moves, like as if hidden in it, incredible power. These rumors are exciting those who sees her for the first time. Diana meets Ben, a young knight with his gaze. He concentrated trains honing their skills. Fencing. His goal is to achieve ideal to be worthy. Protection his own ladies. Ben immersed in thoughts about his progress. He feels that is on the verge of a breakthrough, but can't overcome invisible barrier. Training turns around, fighting not only with the sword, but also with one's own doubts. Anxiety covers it. How much more time he will be wander in search strength? His goal is clear, to become stronger for the sake of protection. Diana, this one, the thought does not give to him peace and makes move forward. Diana suddenly appears in front of Ben, her steps practically silent. Ben shocked as she could get so close without being noticed hiding his aura. This makes him think about her hidden abilities. She smiles, asking about his clothes as if provoking. He becomes, it's awkward, but he agrees. Follow her without asking extra questions. Her confidence attracts and inspires. Diana decisively leads Ben's down the alley. Her red the hair stands out brightly against the green background, and in the eyes the riddle is red. It doesn't reveal their own plans, but clearly strives for something significant. Ben admits that was too much focused on his own thoughts and training to notice the approach Diana. His determination he is getting stronger. He is ready to support her in any undertaking, despite doubts. Diana, wrapped in an aura of confidence, calls Ben follow her. Her gaze is full of firmness, and there is a note in her voice, steadfastness. Together, they are heading towards unknown, which maybe change their destinies. Diana, a girl with bright red hair, walks along a forest path looking around. Her calm suddenly is violated memory, like she's in the past conquered mountains in her life. In her hand shines weapon hinting at her past. How night. She stops at the blooming glades representing to Ben, the knight and his satellite, his secret place. A quiet stream and lush greenery around. Do this a place like an oasis of calm where can hide from all problems. Ben was surprised, realizes that there is one not far from them such beautiful place. He notes harmony nature around and understands why Diana chose this place your own refuge. Diana pulls out small dagger which begins mysteriously glow in her hand, her face focused while Ben begins realize that their meeting in this place has important meaning. With a stern expression, Diana points the blade at Ben. Her sight permeates him. Ben confused and wary but preparing for what she is going to undertake. Diana lightning fast attacks Ben so that tests his strength. He dodges, but it is clear that the actions took him by surprise. In her, in the eyes, steadfastness and determination. Ben trying to understand her motives, clutching at the stomach after her hit. Diana admits that she was waiting for him to be able to overcome it himself, their weaknesses, but now circumstances forced her act otherwise. She holds a blade in her hand. Her voice sounds firmly. She says that the moment has come when Ben must to destroy the wall that holds back its capabilities and potential. Ben attentively listens her words. Her sight remains unshakable when she does the final emphasis on necessity, break the limits that restrict it. Environment is filling up tense atmosphere. Diana, how as if transformed, it makes it clear that it came. Time begin a real fight that must change all. Diana, gracefully wielding a sword, demonstrates your own skill, attracting attention, Ben. He admires her precision but feels hidden power behind it, movements realizing that this is not just a workout. Ben, nervously squeezing your sword, internally fights with fear. He feels that the enemy in front of him is much stronger than it seems, so too paralyzes his resolve. He prepares for the upcoming duels. Diana shows its true essence, reminiscent of Ben about his past. In her image, the spirit of the mighty comes to life night, and red shine strengthens her formidable presence. Diana reveals your own name, reminding Ben about his loyalty to her. Her calm contrasts with his confusion, and hers confidence becomes for him a reminder of his duty and devotion. Ben is trying to collect your thoughts, realizing that now must focus on the current situations. Her words push him to overcome their doubts and prepare for battle. Diana attacks with a lightning strike, demonstrating your own superiority. Ben dodges with difficulty, feeling power. Her movements, he understands that is on the verge of defeat. Ben rushes into battle, but Diana easily parries his blows. Her calmness and concentration, they take him out of equilibrium. It seems that she studies his weaknesses in the process. Diana mockingly notices that Ben all not ready for battle yet. She makes him realize that to him, need to overcome his fears if he wants to cope with her. Ben doubts maybe will he lift weapon against Diana, to whom feels respect. But her power forces him to continue the fight despite his internal conflict. Diana decides, force Ben, use all your potential. Her sight becomes sharp and decisive. She activates its power to show that there will be no mercy. Diana, fighting Ben, effectively strikes from above. Their weapon collides with sparks, reflecting the tension of the battle. Ben, who did not expect such powerful attack, puts all his efforts to stay on your feet. Struck her skill. Stricken, magical aura. Diana, Ben notices that her sword is filling up mysterious energy. He recalls that Diana I had never held a weapon before. and was stunned her unexpected strength and confidence. With distrust, Ben looks at his wounds, thinking about how could lose such a fight. Diana, furiously attacking, dominates her skill, surpasses everything he knew about her before. She looks like almost invincible. Ben, who had already fallen to the ground, trying with all his might block her the next blow. But she is valid, lightning fast. Her attacks are precise, her movements graceful, and each her. The strategy is imbued with incredible determination. When Ben realizes that battle, maybe it doesn't end in his favor, he decides stand up and fight to the end. In his eyes, the will to win is reflected and the body tenses up, preparing for the last one attempt. Diana attacks decisively, her red hair fluttering, adding a furious appearance. Ben for a moment freezes, enchanted her confidently, but quickly, Beret pulls himself together and continues to defend oneself. After receiving a blow, Ben finally understands her motives and willingness not to give up. He notices how Diana, despite her advantages, saves calm as if all what is happening is just examination. Holding the sword tighter, Ben finds strength within himself. Continue battle. He says he doesn't intend to this time give in. His look becomes serious and the pose is firm and confident. Diana smiles her confidence, only she is growing, decides no more holding back because sees that Ben really ready for serious fight. Her mood combat and the movements are precise like never. In their last collision, weapon again intersects with powerful splash energy. Around are distributed explosions, forces causing the earth to tremble. Both opponents give it their all, sparing no effort yourself for the sake of victory. Diana, with fiery red hair, confidently stands in front of Ben. Her movements graceful but dangerous, every step a challenge. Ben, despite his bearing, the knight is nervous, realizing that the slightest error will lead to death. She furiously points out his weaknesses, but not from contempt and from desire to awaken the power in him. Ben, trying to collect his thoughts, looks at her with admiration and excitement, realizing how much great her fighting spirit. Her sight reminds him about the past. The image of the commander who once inspired their victories echoes what he sees now in her eyes. These memories make him freeze in surprise. Diana Sharp brings him back to reality by saying that all only it begins. She demands that he get up and stop hesitate. Her pressure becomes powerful, a boost to his determination. They are finishing workout and sit down on the grass. Ben forcedly laughs, amazed at how Diana easily overcomes any difficulty. Her calm smile and ease only enhance the contrast with his condition. Under evening and silence, Ben carefully asks her about the past. Diana, looking at the sunset with unexpected sadness. It is admitted that hates swords. There's a hint of anger in her voice, the weight accumulated over the years. His face reflects confusion. He shares his own pain, saying that won't be able to anymore take weapon. This point indicates it's internal, a fight he can't overcome alone. Diana, cleaning hair and fanning fan calmly, it is admitted that wants him to become stronger. Her dream, never touch the blade again. Her words ring out, how promise, new life. She looks at Ben with warmth, supporting him with his presence. Her confidence instills in him hope that he can overcome your weakness, and perhaps even become stronger than was earlier. Her look is full of softness and determination. She finishes conversation, emphasizing his faith in Ben. At that moment, their connection. It feels not just like a knight and his commander, but like a union of two souls. Diana, previously knight, promises that now will do. All possible to more, never had to take up the sword. She sits in the woods with Bancroft, showing his determination. Live new life. Bancroft, listening her words express. Okay. Her intentions. Their meeting illuminates pink light sunset, creating romantic atmosphere. Diana thanks him for his support. Diana, surprised by Bancroft's words about the tricolor aura around her. This causes her interest. After all, her aura becomes more saturated. She remembers how the aura grew in the past life. Upon arrival at the estate, Ressie Diana joyfully meet maids. They are enthusiastic. They report that they were waiting for her parish. Diana feels myself a little confused by such a warm welcome. Maids see off her into the room, offering relax in the prepared warm bath. Diana trying to understand why they are so caring. Feeling lung embarrassment from them? Attention. Diana asks about Olga, the maid, who is not at her place. She is told that she has urgent matters. Affairs. They promise help her with by everyone questions, assuring that she maybe trusts them. When Diana enters the bathroom, her sense of smell catches unusual smell. She begins to suspect that something is wrong, but he can't figure out what it is yet. Exactly causes anxiety. As she plunged into the warm water, she notices strange shine. Reflecting, she realizes that all around acquires shade unreality. Her thoughts interrupted when she feels change in oneself. One of maids brings a special bath additive with a rare andros aroma. Diana Sharp refuses such expensive means, assuming that this too much wastefully. Diana clarifies really. This that most andros who costs. How designer dress her annoys so useless luxury, but it also understands that in this, maybe hide something more. Diana discovers a golden box of perfume that evokes in her memories of the past. This is family, a relic. Its appearance is immersive, the girl in thought. The servants are interested her condition, but she only thoughtfully is silent. The servant worried silence Diana serving perfume. The atmosphere in the room filled memories that seem painfully close, but Diana doesn't share them. She decides not to disclose their feelings until the end. Diana, holding a bottle of perfume, remembers her mother. The woman I used to adore this scent, and it reminds me of Diana on the long-lost connections, forcing think about your own childhood and the warmth that she didn't receive enough. The servants rejoice, believing that the spirits have summoned Diana positive emotions. However, in her soul, they are intertwined sadness and tenderness when she realizes how strongly connected her memories with this scent. Diana sits in a chair remembering her mother. She realizes that she always was far from her focusing on her own duties and manners. Feeling loneliness covers Diana, strengthening her melancholy. Memories they carry away. Diana in childhood. She sees myself small, a girl dreaming of a mother love. Mother was strict and cold, and even in moments, training remained alienated. Diana admits that always experienced a lack of maternal love. Her feelings pierced the soul, creating emptiness. The warmth of a mother was a rare gift that left strong trace in the heart. Diana. She remembers those rare moments when her mother extended her hand to her, and these moments were the most precious in her life. Exactly. Then Diana felt myself beloved and needed. Embrace mothers, the scent of perfume, and these rare moments filled heart Diana happiness. It seemed to her that in these moments the world belonged to her, though this feeling was fleeting. Diana drops his perfume, plunging into thought, the servants with excitement. They watch her but remain perplexed. For Diana, these perfumes became a symbol of the lost connections, and at the same time, inspiration continue live. The maids watch as Diana dropped the bottle of perfume. Embarrassed, they're trying justify myself, but her. A look full of condemnation. Shadow past night forces her be strict. The situation gets tense when Diana states that hates the smell of perfume. Her voice sounds cold, and her words make it clear that this was something special for her sisters. In her eyes flickers shadow memories. She requires bringing a new scent, but does it with mockery, wanting the smell that annoys her sister. At this moment, her sarcasm is emphasized, hidden resentment and internal struggle. The maids are in confusion, trying to understand that to do them views intersect in fear of the mistress whose strength of character is obvious. They're in a hurry to fulfill her desire, fearing consequences. Diana immersed herself in the bath, says that the water is too hot, forcing the maids to speed up. Her image embodies simultaneously vulnerability and strength while she reflects on what happened. Alone with myself, Diana feels like oppressed thoughts. She trying to find answers to his torment, and water around her becomes a symbol of it. Reflection and purification. At Diana's dinner party meets son Viscount Badley. He is represented as an important guest, and he declares his confidence that she impressed them. His self-confidence her annoys. When Viscount claims that this guy will be a good husband for Diana, her anger reaches its peak. In her eyes sparkle lightning, reflecting the protest against imposed destinies. Diana remains silent, avoiding a direct answer. Her soul rebels, but she knows that should be reserved in society. Inside her, a plan is maturing. The guy notices her silence and tries flatter, but his words sound. How mockery Diana saves composure, preparing for the decisive moment. Diana sat at a sumptuous table opposite Regina. Her half-sister with a cold was with her smile. Regina seemed to enjoy the moment, saying prickly comments. Diana felt myself. It was awkward, but I tried to keep it self-control. Regina continued a mocking monologue, suddenly praised Diana's appearance and doing. This was with obvious sarcasm. Her tone was emphasized friendly, but in the eyes was read mockery. Diana I just watched quietly, trying not to give away irritations. Trying refrain from anger. Diana I was thinking about my own past and people associated with the family badly. She could hardly suppress the desire. Break all ties with them, but kept it inside, showing only cold determination. Regina again attracted attention, stating that Diana was lucky with her future groom, a son Viscount Badley Diana. She nodded reservedly, but the tension grew. Regina enjoyed his own game. Her satisfaction was obvious. Diana thoughtfully looked at Regina, noticing how she was clearly mocking him. Calling the upcoming marriage is big happiness. Internally, Diana. She smiled but didn't allow herself to show it out loud. True emotions. Son Viscount Badley flashed through my imagination, Diana. His image was accompanied involuntary anxiety. I tried to understand how should behave with such a person so that go out from this situations with honor. Regina continued mock-waiting reaction, Diana, but the last one saved calm. She reminded myself that similar behavior summary sisters. Total only attempt call irritation. Hiding your own irritation. Diana restrainedly answered that nothing will change her opinions. She intentionally avoided details to avoid Regina was ready for more barbs. The silence between them grew tense. Flared-up sight, Diana gave out her inner fire that she hid under external calmness. Her thoughts revolved inexorably around how to complete this game, Regina on her own conditions. Suddenly, someone was running up to the hall. The sound of footsteps echoed throughout the hall. Regina remained seated with an expression of mild surprise hidden behind her mask ridicule. A servant bursts into the hall with news that violates solemn peace. His excited voice spreads throughout the room, attracting attention. Everyone present. The royal decree calls surprise and alarm. Father Regina and Diana. A man of strict principles condemns unexpected invasion. He restrainedly, but with irritation, indicates importance. Compliance protocol in the presence of guests. The messenger delivers the decree and all eyes rush towards the father. The atmosphere becomes tense. It seems even walls feel weight royal power contained in this letter. After reading the decree, the father reports that Diana, the second daughter Viscount, appointed as a friend, bride's princesses Juliana's half. Sister Regina looks at her with obvious disapproval, feeling own defeat. Words about necessity. Accompaniment princesses to the empire. Heberunia sound. How challenge everyone is amazed by the king's decision, and Diana, despite internal anxiety, saves calmness and dignity. Regina doesn't hide it. His own indignation, her a look full of contempt. The father, although he does not approve the choice of the king, emphasizes that this is an order from His Majesty, which no one has the right to dispute. Diana, having done deep inhale, takes solution, carry out the order. In her look shines determination, and the majestic posture gives away knightly nature inherited from last life. The messenger adds that mission can deprive her chance of a successful marriage. However, the king guarantees that this moment will be properly compensated. The voltage in the room reaches its peak. With dignity and calm smile, Diana declares that she is ready to submit to the will of the king. Her confidence bordering on greatness evokes admiration, even those who doubted her. Surrounded golden, the radiance of the hall, Diana seems a heroine to herself own epic. The internal monologue is filled with strength, readiness for challenges and pride in the opportunity to prove oneself. Father, with cold expression faces, insists on the fulfillment of an important royal duty order. Regina, hiding behind him, with frightened looks at Diana, who saves confidence and evokes your own calmness. Irritation among those present. Diana smiles slyly, hinting at her readiness. Decides situation, then causes bewilderment and surprise. Regina, nervous, afraid development events, and father and son Viscount. They look at what is happening with caution. Regina, confused, is trying justify myself, but Diana cleverly takes advantage of the moment to offer your own solution. Son. The Viscount, who did not expect such a turn of events, tensely listens, and the father attentively keeps an eye on them. Reactions. Diana confidently emphasizes his idea by offering unexpected but logical solution. Regina loses composure, feeling that the sister again intends manipulate the situation to their advantage. Panic Regina becomes obvious when Diana mentions their past conversation in which the sister allegedly supported her. Regina is confused, is trying object, but Diana continues to speak confidently and persistently. Son Viscount begins reflect on Diana's words, remembering their past communication. He is flattered that about him responded okay, and he starts to hesitate without noticing how hits under influence her confidence. Diana skillfully uses your words, convincing Viscount what they perfect suit each other. Comparing her with others, he reluctantly agrees, realizing that the sacrifice for such a union may be justified. Diana finishes conversation with a smile, making it clear that situation fully under her control. Regina remains on the sidelines. Forced watch how her plan again is collapsing due to manipulation, sisters. Son Viscount feigned praises their supposed compatibility with pleasure, representing myself in the role of a victim in the name of such a union. Diana only smiles, confident that everything is going as planned. She thought of it. Diana expresses the joy of that discussion. The marriage turned out to be productive. At that time, how father and son Viscount remain happy. Regina, depressed outcome, realizes that lost in this confrontation. Regina father appeals to Regina with a demand for an apology. Diana for the previous one's quarrels. His cold tone emphasizes seriousness. Intentions. Regina feels myself humiliated but afraid to contradict. Diana receiving attention. Son Viscount Badley looks like confident and graceful. His compliments and admiration cite annoying Regina. Indeed, she understands that loses sister in this battle. Son Viscount demonstrating gentleman's manners bows before Diana, promising give up everything for her. Her smile seems friendly, but inside she saves restrained alertness. Regina, with difficulty hiding anger, sarcastically notices that such attention cavaliers liberates her from worrying about gifts for Diana. Her sarcasm remains unnoticed, and the son Viscount continues speak enthusiastically. Diana, with a light irony, enjoys situation, but her sight gives out disdain. She reflects on unpredictability, fate, especially for those who is trying, manipulate circumstances. Walter urgently reports Cornelius news about the appointment, Diana girlfriend brides. His words make Cornelius barely noticeable. Shadow concerns, although he retains visibility. Indifference. Walter, wondering how this will affect them, plans, and Cornelius deep plunges into thought. His thoughts return him to the past, to the events associated with Diana, and to unresolved emotions. The scene ends, tense atmosphere where destiny's heroes intertwined in a complex game, ambitions and feelings. Cornelius, in spite of everything, saves inner strength that makes it central figure in this whirlwind intrigues. Cornelius, anxious, remembers a dream where Princess Juliana dies on the way. This image evokes in him doubts that death was by chance. He ponders what might be behind it. Sinister conspiracy. The broken carriage and Trace's struggle make him wonder why Heberunia will insist on a version chance he feels that situation. We're more difficult than it seems and decides figure this out. Memories. Cornelius returned him to the past where war was inevitable. Then he believed that this was the only way, but now his gaze has changed. He understands that Juliana should survive. Cornelius decisively looks in the mirror and confirms to himself that the plan will remain unchanged. He accepts solid solution, protect Princess despite the possible risks, and is ready. Follow this course until the end. He noted Diana with Juliana drinking tea in the garden. Princess asks about the details of the upcoming meetings with my son, Viscount Badley. Her curiosity and excitement bring into the conversation lightness. Having heard mention of Badley, Juliana comes to life, but soon her delight is replaced. Irritation. Her emotions, they force Diana hold back smile after all she didn't intend to her to praise. Talk, accepts serious turn of phrase. Juliana reproaches Diana in what she did, a terrible act to which she herself never, I wouldn't dare. The princess doesn't hide it, his own indignation. Diana calmly answers that her actions were dictated by the principles of justice. She adds that now her less worries the future of others and she felt better at heart. Juliana, understanding meaning words. Diana calmed down, their talk ends on a note. Mutual respect, leaving heroines with the thought that upcoming events will change their life. Diana, Agnes, little one girl with pink curls, walks along the palace path. Her carefree gait and joyful expression faces create a contrast with the tense atmosphere around Juliana and Diana. Diana, watching Agnes from a distance, wonders question. Why exactly this girl affects everyone such influence? She suspects that in her actions, hidden secret the meaning, but he doesn't understand what it is yet. Juliana sits on the throne and looks threateningly, radiating gloomy calm. She realizes that the influence is great, but in her words and actions there's a draft, something more dark and ominous. Diana internally shudders at the behavior of princesses, but retains external calm. She begins notice that Juliana gradually loses control of himself, and her behavior becomes all more strange. Agnes enters the luxurious hall and joyfully calls his sister. Her, a cheerful voice echoed, spreads throughout the hall, filling space. Lightness and warmth, that sharp contrast with the previous one atmosphere. Agnes, looking at Juliana with a childish sincerity, says that she will leave soon and there is no time for them together. Communication remains very little. Her words sound, how a reminder of importance families. Diana notices in behavior. Agnesa takes a sly note and understands that the girl is not as simple as it seems. Situation begins, except an unexpected turn of events and her suspicions are confirmed. Princess Juliana externally saves calm, but her internal hysteria is ready to break out. Diana watches this with growing interest, anxiety and feeling looming disasters. When Agnes enough, Julian took her hand and suddenly smiles, softening the whole situation. With this gesture, the girl, as if relieves the atmosphere, leaving Diana is perplexed and slightly smile. Diana Young, a girl with scarlet hair and green through the eyes, arrives at the rich hall of the palace where meets Juliana, the only one Princess Kingdoms. Princess shines sincere with joy thanks. She welcomes her visit and warmly takes her hands, creating an atmosphere of friendship and respect. However, Diana holding back mixed emotions watching the princess. Her sight reflects interior conflict caused her last life. She was knight and got used to another world where such refined manners and luxury did not exist. Through sun rays touching her golden hair, Juliana expresses genuine happiness. Her smile inspires trust and warmth, forcing Diana to think about your own feelings. But inside her lives, anxiety and feeling inconsistencies. Diana is preparing to leave the castle. Her knight Ben helps with loading luggage, showing their devotion. The atmosphere is filled farewell, but those around save external calm, maintaining formality moment. Housemaid sincerely wonders why no one came out to see Diana off, indicating that her departure is important event girl. She replies that she doesn't even like that easier. She maybe leave unburdened superfluous emotions. Her, the internal monologue emphasizes self-confidence decisions. She firmly intends to return with results that will allow her to no longer feel remorse, conscience before others. Knight Ben reminds of the time and the maid Olga with a slight, sadly agrees that it's time to leave. Diana turns around, throwing again a look at the majestic castle behind before How enter the carriage. Horses, the wheels are moving, they creak, and Diana silently looks at the trees passing by. The castle remains behind, symbolizing the end of one stage, her life, and the beginning of a new, complete challenges and uncertainty. She says goodbye to the estate, promising himself not to return. For her, this departure is a symbol of freedom. Although shadows past, all more discard long silhouettes on her future. Inside carriages, Diana covers eyes, allowing sunny light warm her face. She full determination build your own destiny, leaving behind palace luxury and interior contradictions.